All right, you guys all ready to get to work? Well, welcome out. Good Saturday to all of you. We're going to go to work today. You okay with that?
Yes.
All right, so let me just kind of tell you what's going on today. I'm back to work and I'm cranking hard, and I've got a group of folks that are doing a 90-day blitz with me. And so some of them are local and they're here, some of them are long distance. And so I was trying to figure out a way that I could do a training for them that they needed. We're in week 3, just starting week 3 of our blitz. And so there's some stuff I really wanted to go over with them. So I scheduled this and I started thinking, how can I get it to everybody? And I figured out we'll do it at USANA. Then I'm messing with this technology here. So we're live streaming right now to these folks as well, just so you know that, okay? So the other thing is anytime I do a training, I open it up to everybody. And so the information I'm going to cover is not just specific to the group that's going through the 9-day blitz. If you're just getting started, if you're stuck and want to get your business going, if you're anywhere in between, the information I'm going to cover is going to be applicable to you. So we're going to go to work. I'm already hot. I'm going to get rid of the jacket, and we're going to get focused here. So, all right. What we're going to do is we're going to go through some skill training for a little while, and then we'll take a break. And then I'm going to come back and make sure you're all extremely clear on not only how the compensation plan works, but what you can do to earn weekly checks and get those checks to grow over and over and over. That's really a big focus that I have right now with my team. So I just wanted you to understand that. We've been with USANA now. Most of you know me, but for those of you on air that don't know me, or if you're here locally, we've been with USANA for 20 years, been doing this a long time, worked real hard for about 7 years. 8 years, got our business real stable, and then took about 10 years off and enjoyed life, tested out that residual income, and had a great time with it. And started dabbling with it again about a year or two ago, getting kind of back in the trenches and really hitting it hard lately. And so that's kind of our background, what we've been doing. But we're going to talk a little bit about the GoPro 7 skills. Who, without looking down at the back of their book or anything, looking straight, who can name all 7 skills in order? Dan, first hand up.
Find prospects.
Okay.
Invite.
Okay.
Present.
Okay.
The product and opportunity. Follow up.
Okay.
Help them become customers or prospects.
Okay.
Or associates. Help them get started right.
Correct.
And then promote events.
Boom. So what do you want? You want a Rev 3? You want a GoPro book?
I'll give you a GoPro book.
Okay. Alec goes your GoPro book at the back. So we've got those available here for you today. So that's it. That's it. Awesome. Finding prospects, inviting, presenting, following up, guiding them to a decision or helping them get started, closing, however you want to call it. There's a lot of different terms to talk about. Number 5, then get them started right, and promoting events. So we're going to go through those 7 skills right now in some detail and see how that goes. But how many of you have read the book GoPro? They're here with us today. Okay. How many of you have studied the book GoPro? They're here today. How many of you have devoured the book GoPro? There's a big difference, right? There's a big difference. I want to encourage you to work your way up to where you're devouring this book, the information. I was going through it again last night, and it is just phenomenal. It's dead on. In fact, I can remember when I decided I want to get working again, and I was like, well, the first thing I need to do if I'm going to bring in a bunch of people is I need a system, right? I need something to plug them into. And this is when GoPro was new a couple years ago. And I heard about this book, and I reluctantly read it. And, because it was brand new, and it's like, another guru kind of thing. Didn't know a lot about Eric Worre. But, man, I read that thing, and he was dead on. And I literally went, why would I go out and reinvent the wheel? Why would I go create a system when this is so perfect, so good? And so there's some things we have to do to kind of what I would call USANify it. So we talk about these skills here, but there's things that, how do we do that in USANA? Is some of the things I want to cover with you today. So when it comes to skill number 1, there's 4 different things you can really do here. Hot market. These are your close circle of friends and family, people who will listen to you, the people who would help you move. Okay, this is your hot market, right? The people who would do you a favor. This is your hot market. Okay. Number 2, war market. People you know on a first name basis. Social psychologists say 2,000 people on a first name basis by the age of 18. Most of us go, nah, you're crazy. If you go through exercises and get these names out of the back of your mind and on a piece of paper, they're out there. I've done trainings on them and help people do this. I've gone through it personally, but you know a ton of people. At least know their names, and you can track them down today. When I started with USANA, it wasn't technology like there was today where you could find people and contact them. Sometimes it took me forever to find an old pager number of somebody. That's how long ago it was. Cold market, people you don't know, okay? And that could be anybody you don't know. I mean, that could be the waiter at lunch today. Advertising, this is a specific advertising type thing that you're doing. Welcome, there's a whole row up here as well, folks. The closer you are, the better it's gonna be for you for today's training. What I want you to understand here is they all work. I've done them all. I've had success with all of them, but they're different. And what I have found is people like one or the other more. I think you've got to get to where you can do, so I'm going to go through a little bit of each of them real quick. But for me, I loved hot market. I loved warm market. I believed in what I was doing. I loved USANA. I knew this was the way to retire early. I had so much passion and conviction and belief in it once I got going and got through some training and got on the products and toured the facility and came to a convention and got immersed in it that I had, it was like, why wouldn't I share it with people I know and care about? If I had something that would help them out, I wanted to help them. So that was a big focus for me, was those top two. I'm not a huge, I struggle with cold market, but I still have done a lot of it. And I've signed up some great people in our business from cold market and from advertising. So what I want you to understand is that what I see is that people, when you do warm market, you usually get really good results. I did. If I approached 10 people on my hot or warm market list, 6 or 7 said, yeah, I'll take a look. Of those 6 or 7, 1 or 2 were flakes, because my friends were flakes too. Some of you have friends like that. Didn't show or whatever. 4 or 5 actually took a look. 4 or 5 took a look. Half of them became associates or customers. So 2 or 3 people typically got involved with my business one way or another if I approached 10. Those were great numbers. So what I find is people hear numbers like that. They want these results, but they want to go build out here. So it's like a bullseye. The further you go out with circles of influence, they still work, but the more numbers you have to do. Does that make sense? So as long as you're honest with yourself, that's okay. In my Blitz group, I'm telling everybody you need to have enough we're focused on warm market here, is what we're really focused on, warm and hot market. When it comes to advertising, you have to be a gold director or above with USANA to do advertising. You have to have it run through compliance. So work with a gold director above if you want to do some of that kind of stuff. But I suggest you focus a lot here. When you're out in life and you see somebody, they make an impression on you, talk to them, right? Worst thing they can say is no. Probably never see them again anyway if you're just out and about doing life. So I'd rather talk to somebody and get a no than toss and turn all night wishing I would have talked to them. You ever done that? Because I have too. All right. Skill number 2, focus on helping people. You're not hunting people, right? There's a difference between hunting and somebody who's cultivating and planting a seed and helping people. So focus on helping people, discover their needs, offer a solution. Our whole goal here is education and understanding. That's what we're trying to do when we present. So just keep that in mind, right? We're trying to get, I'm okay if somebody says no, as long as it's an educated no. You want to make sure you're emotionally detached. So if you told me that you saw Star Wars and loved it, because that's the big thing that was going on a little while ago. I love how people who don't do network marketing the crap out of Star Wars. You know what I mean? It was all over everywhere. Actually, I just thought it was okay. It was good, but I guess I'm not that big a sci-fi guy. But the thing is, if I told you go see this movie and you didn't go see it, would you be all bummed out? Or should I be all bummed out, right? If I said, go see this movie, just go check it out. You're going to love this movie. And you don't, I didn't like it or whatever. You're not going to take it personal. So just because this is your business doesn't mean your business or your products are right for everybody or everyone's going to buy. So don't take it personal. You need to be emotionally detached to the outcome. Be yourself, but be your best self, okay? Don't be somebody you're not, but be an enthusiastic you. So, you don't have to be, again, if you're normally a pretty mellow person, don't be, on a scale of 1 to 10, if 10 is just off the charts, crazy enthusiasm, and you're normally a 5, don't be a 10, be a 6 or 7, be an excited you, is all I'm saying. Does that make sense? You can't tell somebody, I'm so excited about this. This is awesome. You have to be excited about it if you want to get their attention, okay? And then have posture. Where do you think posture comes from? And if you yell something out, speak up so the folks online can hear a little bit and see if this microphone works. If from the audience as well. What do you think gives you posture?
Confidence, like knowing your stuff.
Confidence, not so knowledge, knowing what you're talking about, right?
Training.
Training, good. What else?
Not being afraid.
Not being afraid, okay? So taking a risk, maybe, stepping out, right? Okay, how about belief? So really getting focused on belief in the company, the industry itself, and the products. I've never sponsored anybody in this business or trained somebody who came in as a 9 or 10 in all 4 of those areas. Everybody has work to do. Are you doing that work to get your belief up there? Okay, that's real important. And then success. Success breeds success. When you enroll your first person like Jared did last night, then he goes, hey, I got this, right? When you earn 10, 11, 12, 15 checks in a row now, like the Bazans have, weekly checks every single week, then, okay, we got this. We're figuring it out. When you earn 70 checks in a row, like I saw on Facebook from the Homers this last week, 70 consecutive checks. You think they're confident now? Right, but it's not that they're confident because they're successful. They're successful because they were confident because they did the work on the front end, okay? They went to the training, they got the information, they overcame the fears, they focused on their goals, they worked on the belief levels, all the things we've been talking about. So we're gonna move on real quick. So I have something for you all. Justin, can you give me a hand button?
Yeah.
And maybe Trevor real quick, let's cover 2 sides of the room. So this is a little cheat sheet for you. I think I left myself one. Okay, so if you're on my Blitz group, I uploaded these to our Blitz Facebook page last night at about midnight or so. So they're on there. You can pull those up. There are 2 documents I put on there last night, guys, if you're listening online. But skill number 2. It's all on here. And I may even, well, let's just go through it a little bit. So the key is here, be in a hurry. You want to be in a hurry. Why do you think you want to be in a hurry when you're approaching a prospect? You don't want to end up presenting the whole thing. What's the goal of an approach or an invite? To set the appointment for the presentation, right? So focus on your goal there. So an approach or an invite should be really short. A good one's about 3 to 5 minutes. So can you approach 2 people a day if it takes 3 to 5 minutes? I approached 2 people a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, my first year in this business. That's 500 people and got to a 6-figure income my first year doing that because of the consistency of it, okay? It's the consistency. If you do it a few times here and there, it doesn't equal 500 people at the end of the year. But you need to be in a hurry. I mean, there's a lot of different ways. Just let them know. I only have a quick second. There's examples on here I'm handing out to you. Compliment them. It's easy to find a sincere compliment for just about anybody, right? Well, and if some of you are laughing, oh, not everybody I know. Dig. I like your smile, you know. I like your frown. Whatever it is, you know. You find something to compliment somebody on. But for me, I go after the people that I have something to compliment them on. So I'm not going after people who, you know, hey, I always loved how you're such a bum, kind of thing. Those aren't the people I'm going after. So compliment your prospect, and then you're going to make the invitation. And then if I would you. So invitation is you're kind of, especially again, warm market is a great thing here because you know something about them. Hey, you know the other day when you were telling me how much you hated your job, were you just blowing off steam or kidding around or were you serious? So now you're transitioning into that invitation. Oh, really? You're serious? Well, if I would you. If I sent you a link to a video, an awesome brand new video that gives you a quick overview in about 12 minutes, would you watch it? You see that? Yeah. If I saved you a seat at our next presentation this Tuesday, it's going to be packed, would you make sure you're on time, take that seat? If I set up a time for you to meet with one of our top local leaders, Sam Taylor, would you take the time, would you make sure you made that appointment? He's a busy person. I want to make sure I'm honoring his time. You see how that works? If I would you. And then get the time commitment. This is your confirmation 1, 2, and 3. So you're getting the time commitment here. The key here is that you're not asking them for the, or giving them the time or suggesting a time for them. Can I call you tomorrow at 10? So he says, let's say I said, if I, well, it's all here in the script. We can read it, but we'll go through it here in a second. Let me kind of go through these and explain them a little bit and why they work that way. The reason I want you to give me your time commitment is because I know that's going to work for you, right? All I'm doing is keeping the appointment you set. You're setting that time. And then I'm confirming that. So if I called you tomorrow morning, if he says, yeah, I'll watch it today. So if I called you tomorrow, you would have watched it for sure, right? All right, so what time and number should I call you tomorrow? That's where I'm confirming the appointment. And then get off the phone. If I'm calling somebody I haven't talked to in a while, for me, I personally like to get right into business. And then if I'm going to chit-chat about life, I'll chit-chat about life. I haven't seen somebody in 5 minutes. 5 years maybe, okay? And so I want to get right into this. I don't want to chit-chat with somebody, hey, how's it going? And then, oh, by the way, I've got this thing. I'm calling you because, Cal, when we used to work together 10 years ago, you were one of the hardest working people I knew, and I wanted you back on my team. I just started my own business, and I'm going to work, and I thought, who do I want to work with? Cal, you came to mind. We haven't seen each other forever. I want to talk to you about this. We go through the whole deal, and then at the end, well, hey, whether this is for you or not, no big deal. I still would love to catch up with you and have lunch. Then we'll chit-chat if I need to. We start going down the road of him asking me questions about the presentation. Hey, we're going to cover all that when we get together next week. How's the family doing? So if I'm going to chit-chat, it's at the end, and it's only because I haven't talked to him in a long time. Typically, it's somebody on a hot market I see or on a regular basis. I'm on and off the phone, setting that appointment. Don't have a lot of time. So, who would like to come up and role play this? Anybody that feels comfortable reading through it and want to role play it with me? Stephanie, look at who else? Come on. I want and Trevor. So I'm going to have an associate and a prospect. Okay.
I'll be the prospect.
You'll be the prospect. Trevor, you want to be the associate?
Sure.
Come on over here real quick so the folks can see and hear you right up front. You can read it right off here. If you do it a little bit different, feel free to do that, but speak up good and loud. All right.
So we're just doing
The example.
Went through the example. Okay.
Yeah, and then real quick, I'll just to point out, you'll see here at the bottom where it says there's a place to, if you're using an expert, so you won't read that part here. But if you're new and you're working with an expert, you want to be able to insert something in there that you would get from your expert. Okay.
Okay. Hey, I don't have a lot of time to talk, but it was really important I reached you. Listen, you're one of the most financially intelligent people I know, and I've respected that about you. When you told me you really didn't like your job, were you serious or were you just kidding around?
You know, I am really good with money. I am pretty awesome with that, but yeah, I don't know. You know, it's just hard to say. Everything's kind of up in the air.
Okay, well, great. I think I've found a way for you to create an exit strategy. I have a video that describes what I'm talking about better than I can. If I sent you an email with a link to this video, would you watch it?
Is it long?
No, it's
Go with him. What are you doing? What are you beating up your guy?
He's got this. Come on.
no, I'm not trying keep going. No, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I just want to have you take a look at this because I think it'd be great for you to see and see if it's something you'd like to do.
Wow, Charles. So you thought of me because I'm smart with my money, and you know I want lost, or I don't quite know about my job. So this is going to help me.
I think it will. If you really take a look at it, it'll help you get a great understanding of exactly what it is.
Yeah, I'll take a look at it.
Okay. When do you think you could watch it for sure?
Let's see. Looks like I have some time tomorrow, maybe around noon. Does that make sense? Is that okay?
I think that's great. So if I call you tomorrow around afternoon, you will review it for sure?
Yeah, afternoon, yeah.
Okay. All right, I will give you a call tomorrow a little bit after noon. What is the best number and time for me to call after you watch that video?
Oh, yeah, just call me on the same phone, the cell phone, the 801-822 number.
Okay.
That'll work.
And is there a specific time you'd like me to call?
Let's see. Depending on how long it is, just call me anytime after 2, between 2 and 3. Will that work?
That would be perfect.
Okay,
I
awesome.
will schedule that in my calendar, and I will give you a call tomorrow between 2 and 3 o'clock.
Awesome. Thanks.
Great job. Great job. Trevor, you did awesome, dude. What's funny is Trevor's the new associate in their business. He's like baptism by fire here, you know. Like, I'm not going to let him read the script. I love it. So people will throw you a curveball, so that's okay. Overcoming objections, that's another training a little bit as well, and using an expert, but you did great. It's just talking to people, right? If you're talking to somebody about anything in life, you can walk your way through a conversation. Just because I drive a Chevy and you drive a Ford or whatever, you may not agree. We can have a discussion about it, right? So it's not a big deal. So, and then get off the phone. Everything was good there. You did a great job. And the more you do it, the more comfortable it's going to get. Justin.
One thing I want to share real quick, and I'll keep it quick, is when I first started, my uplines were way busy. My sponsor fell out quick, and I had nobody to teach me that. And so after I actually found Eric Foray through my brother, who I sponsored, he's like, "Hey, have you seen this?" So I started checking it out. We read GoPro last year, but just by doing that, I was talking to probably 20 people on average a day on the phone. So I had just plugged it in anywhere I could. I got a lot of calls like Stephanie's. I didn't do the best at them. I didn't overcome things well, but I made enough calls that I didn't get all my calls weren't that way. Some of them were just like, yeah, sure. And it's like you start getting out there and the team starts to build and come together. So even if you're worried about it, it works. Just read it.
I agree. And I'll say this, that's another reason I liked warm market was for me, and everybody's different. Some people want to practice on cold market and they nail it with warm market. For me, I knew warm market was a safe place. I knew people who were going to help me move my hot market. They may give me a hard time. All right, what are you doing or whatever, but they still love me, and I know they're going to be receptive, at least take a look. And I can always say, look, it may or may not be for you, but at least come take a look so you know what you're saying no to. Yeah. It's worth an hour of your time. I could say, Justin, you're a smart business person. Wouldn't you agree you should have all the facts before you make an educated business decision? Come get all the facts, turn off The Simpsons tonight, watch come check this out, and it could change your life. And if not, no big deal. At least you know what you're saying no to. Right? I can say that to anybody. And especially, to me, that's that little 2x4 over the head with my buddy that's giving me a hard time that I can do with a buddy I can't do necessarily always with a cold market type person. Sometimes you can, depending on how it's going. But, all right, let's move into skill 3 real quick. You all have that where you can check it out. All this, just so you know, if you're online and you don't have the printout we have, it's all right in the book. Everything I'm doing is right out of this book. So you need to, if you don't have a copy of this book and 4 copies for your next 4 people in your business, you need to get them. I don't care if you get them from Eric Worry, from the website directly. If you get them from here today at the back, we've got some. If you get them from Amazon, I don't care where you get them, but you got to get them. How many of you, if I was part of enrolling you, either I personally sponsored you or I was there at that presentation, every single one of you walked out the day you enrolled with one of these books. Every single one of you. Not one of you left my presence without getting started with this, right? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about skill 3. We've got to keep moving here. Presenting. This really, to me, the first 2 are the most important to a new person. Those are the things you have to focus on. You have to make a list, and you have to get good at inviting. If you're working with an expert, they're doing most of everything else with you, right? So those are the 2 to focus on and nail when you're new. As you're moving along, let's talk a little bit about presenting here. Presenting is reviewing a tool or attending an event. An event can be a one-on-one at coffee, or it could be a group presentation that's going on, a webinar or whatever. I would define presentation because there's a little confusing these days, and there's different schools of thought on this. I personally would define the word presentation as enough information that somebody can make a decision as to whether or not they are saying yes or no to either buying your product, becoming a customer, or signing up in your business as an associate. If I haven't gone through enough information, then I would consider that still part of the approach or invite process. If I send out the new video, which I love, this is USANA video. Have you all seen that? Phenomenal video. In my opinion, that's not a presentation. That's the appetizer before the meal. Okay? So to me, that's part of my approach process to get the curiosity up to say, yeah, I want to learn more, to give a full presentation. If I have somebody who says, yeah, I want to do the business after just watching that video, in my opinion, they probably don't, unless they've done a lot of other research I don't know about, they probably don't know enough information for them to really be knowing what they're saying yes to, knowing that they're really going to be here long term, making an informed decision. Yes?
If they did say that, would you wait to sign them up as an associate until they can do the presentation?
No, if I had a conversation with somebody that watched just that one video and said, I'm in, I'd say, great. And then I'd make my first training would be a presentation. Okay? Or if I thought they were really premature going that way, I've had somebody do that more than a few times. I'd say, hey, I love your enthusiasm, but I want to make sure I get you all the facts because we're going to be working together and I want to know that you're really in. Okay? So I have no problem doing that. It just depends on the situation. But good question. All right. So that's the way I would define presentation. I don't care if it's a video series of videos. That's enough information. I don't care if it's a webinar. I don't care if it's one-on-one with the Health and Freedom newspaper, bringing somebody to a Health and Freedom. There's a lot of ways to do a presentation. The format's not important. The amount of information that's enough, but not too much, by the way, is also important. And so, again, always use an expert. Now, I can offer that, but when I sponsor and enroll somebody and working with somebody in a project leg, I tell them they can use me and abuse me for 90 days. If they take advantage of it, they're going to know what they need to do to be able to be doing their own presentations, trainings, and other stuff. If they don't, they probably won't be, but I'm going to be moving on working with somebody else likely. If they're still where I need them and I'm working because I'm focused too. I made an offer. They didn't take advantage of it. I might extend that some more time, but that's kind of my policy and how I do it. But I would say use an expert if you're new. That's how you learn, is working with other people. Earn while you learn. And then what's your story? Figure out what your story, why you're doing USANA. And it covers it in more detail in the book. I can't go into it today, but you need to know, why are you doing this? A really quick story, just a minute or two that kind of says, here's what I did, what I didn't like about it, or what I'm doing, what I don't like about it, why I got involved with USANA and where I'm going. Because your story can happen during part of the approach process, in the presentation process, in the follow-up process, in a training, anywhere. Your story is something that's powerful. So make sure you're crafting your story so that everybody has your own story, okay? It's important. When you're going through this process, listen, practice so that you can become an expert. You want the experts, the leaders, the ones most knowledgeable or doing the most, are the ones who are going to be the most successful in anything in life. This is no different. So crawl so you can walk, so you can run. Don't jump in and start running right away. Go out and go through those processes, but don't crawl forever, okay? And you need to be prepared, but not perfect. You don't have to be perfect when you do a presentation. My first presentation, I was scared to death. It was 20 minutes long, a whole Health and Freedom, 20 minutes long, because I forgot everything I was supposed to say. We didn't have it on a PowerPoint. We had to memorize a 10-step outline and write it like on a whiteboard. Hope to God I don't have to start writing on this whiteboard because I have the worst handwriting in the world. But I had to do those things. So I was like, I forgot most of it and my presentation was short. But people still got involved, right? Some of our best presentations or best closure rates are not when somebody gets up and nails a presentation. They're when somebody who gets up and they're real and they're even nervous, but they're overcoming that and they're sharing from their heart, and people say, I can do that. If you get up and nail a presentation and the prospect goes, well, I can see why you're successful, but I can't do that, so maybe I can't do this business. So I'm very comfortable in front of a room today, but I was not in the beginning. But I worked on that, okay? So, and again, a presentation can be just you and one person over coffee. I would suggest always doing a 2-on-1 versus a 1-on-1. If I present to a prospect, that's okay. But if I present to Jared's prospect and he's learning, now I'm presenting, building the business, but I'm training Jared at the same time, right? So you should always try to do a 2-on-1 type presentation so you're training or being trained at the same time. All right. So skill 4. This is on follow-up. Be professional. Keep your appointments. Make sure you're organized. Put it in a calendar, a day timer. Be on time. You want to work with somebody that does what they say they're going to do, right? We all do. So make sure you're that type of person. I can't control if my prospect's on time. I can't control if they don't answer the phone or schedule time. But I will let them know, hey, I'm calling at 2 o'clock, just like I committed. Sorry I missed you. I'm sure something important came up. I'll try you back in a couple hours. In the meantime, feel free to call me if you're ready to talk before then. So I don't put it all in their control. I let them know I'm calling back, but I let them know they're welcome to call me, kind of thing. But I let them know I called. If I'm scheduled to call, I don't just call them and not leave a message. I'm going to make sure they know I kept my appointment, that they can count on me. Purpose of an exposure. What is the purpose of an exposure? To set up a next exposure, right? So everything is always setting up the next exposure. What if they become an associate? There's still another exposure. It's the game plan, the training, right? Today is another exposure for a lot of you, okay? So you continue that series of exposures. They say it's an average of 4 to 6 times exposures during the early process for somebody to make a decision to become an associate or a customer. Exposure can be a 2-minute video you email them. You can maybe even send them 2 or 3 videos, not overload them, but they go through some information. They say, I want to learn more about that Dr. Wentz fellow. And I want to learn more about those essentials and that energy drink. Well, there's 3 very specific videos you can send them. There would be 3 different exposures that would get them that information to let them dig a little deeper. Use the tools, okay? They're fantastic. Questions or objections. A lot of people freak out when they get objections. Objections are just questions. Very few people look at it and go, got it, I'm in, let's go, right? Okay, here's a list of some of my objections. I was working 60 to 80 hours a week in my job. Don't have time. I was broke, living paycheck to paycheck. Don't have money. Didn't really, wasn't really into health and all that. I don't know about the whole health thing. I understood it later as a business, made a lot of sense. Now I'm into it. Tried another network marketing company before, did not have great results. So I don't know about, network marketing kind of thing, right? I had a lot of objections, but I'm here today because somebody walked me through those. Okay, so just understand that. Usually it's limiting belief, either limiting belief in themselves or belief in the industry of network marketing. So find out what it is and educate them and help them out with that. Okay? There's a lot of people who've overcome these things. I had a terrible limiting belief in network marketing. I know Rachel struggled a lot with limiting belief in self, and she's on fire and a powerful businesswoman leader today. Absolutely. Because she's grown. She's decided not to let those things hold her down. Okay? Use an expert if you're new. That's important. That's everywhere in here, right? And then your story. Again, that can be part of that. Listen, practice, so you can move on and become that expert as well. Skill number 5. So your words, whether it's during a presentation, somebody overhearing you walking down the hall. Man, I had 3 people invited, nobody showed up. That happened to me before. You're walking down the hall and you say that. And, let's just say that Tori's walking with his brand new prospect. And he's all excited. My prospect came with me. Tori's prospect overhears that. Is that instilling confidence or doubt? Doubt. So think about that, okay? And it doesn't have to be your words around somebody, even in a presentation. A lot of times we talk people out of this business. Hey, this looks great. I'm ready to go. Okay, great. Let me go over a couple more things with you real quick. No, I'm ready to go. Wait. No, I don't. Are you sure? Hang on a second here. But I haven't told you all about how the cell works yet. No, but I'm ready to go. Wait a minute. Do you understand exactly how the reentry works? You know what I'm saying? They want to go. They'll figure that out. Get them to the training. But let's help them get started, okay? They don't have to know everything to get going. They have to know they want to do it. Okay, so don't talk people out of it, and be very careful about the word. Think about it. Think about what you talk about when you're presenting. If it's a controversial issue and you don't know their belief on it, that's up to you how you want to go, what direction with that. God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. Use them accordingly. Discover people's needs and offer them a solution. Find out what they're looking for, and then they'll tell you what they're looking for. You give them a chance to talk. Okay. Be interested, not interesting. Most of us are so worried about waiting for the person to shut up so we can say what we want to say because we want to be interesting. We all struggle with this. I'm not saying that I don't struggle with these things, right? So be focused on that. Make sure that you're listening to them. They'll tell you what they're looking for and what's holding them back, and then you can overcome those things or give them those things. Again, what's your story? Make sure you're paying attention so you can help people in the future with this. And the question. This is a great question at the end of any kind of exposure or presentation. What did you like best about what you just saw? Just ask somebody, what did you like best about what you just saw? Great question, right? Okay, so Eric Worry, and it's on the sheet that you all have as well. The bottom has that question there, has making sure you're getting with an expert during the follow-up and find out how you want to handle that because people do it differently. But then also the 4-step close. All right, 2 more volunteers? Anyone want to go? Justin? Anyone else? Dano? Oh. Yeah, go ahead. If you got a little bit late, come on up here real quick. You guys read through this. Hey, stick to the script.
Okay, yes, sir. You are, how are you on this? Do you want to be the associate? Sure. So I'll read the 4-step close. Yeah. All right. Hey, Justin, based on what you've just seen, if you were to get started with us on a part-time basis,
approximately how much would you need to earn per month in order to make this worth your time?
Probably like $500 or $600, really.
Per month? Okay,
That's part-time here, right?
that's doable. Yeah, absolutely, that's doable. So approximately how many hours could you commit each week to develop that kind of income?
Probably,
I know you're a busy guy.
I know, wouldn't want to tell you something I couldn't do. Maybe 5.
5 hours per
Five,
week?
maybe a little more, but for sure like an hour a day. I bet. For sure,
Okay,
like
an hour a day. Okay, so 5 hours per week to earn about $500 or $600 per month.
Yeah.
Okay, it's possible. It's possible. So how many months would you work 5 hours per week in order to develop that $500 or $600 income per month? How many months would you work?
With something like this, I guess hopefully could probably accomplish that within maybe 6 months. I would hope.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're working with the team, you'd absolutely be able to do that. If I could show you how to develop an income of about $500 to $600 per month, working 5 hours per week over about 6 months, would you be ready to get started today?
Yeah, really. Huh?
Excellent. Let's get started.
Sweet. Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it.
I need a bigger cooler. All right, awesome. So again, this is all right here in the book, the GoPro book. This is where you get it, practice it, make it your own. But pretty simple deal, yeah.
I know you're probably got a lot of agenda. Is there time for testimonies on any of this stuff? Like newer people maybe who are trying it, that it's worked? Like for some people who haven't tried it?
Somebody has a quick
We've
test.
all read books, yeah, but like this got a little.
Somebody who's used it and had great results with it. Anybody want to give a quick testimonial on somebody who's used this system and just said, yeah, it's anyone? Come on up here so they can hear a little bit too.
I want to share something
It just worked a minute ago.
really quick. I just signed up Justin, so that's awesome. This isn't specifically how I've done it. I have done this a few times with associates and customers. But my buddy Trevor here came to the Challenge U, and we witnessed someone do this expertly. It was Brian Bulkey, who was sitting with us. Trevor said he was about on the choice if you're ready to get started or if you need to answer some more questions. He was about a 1.5, maybe 1.25, something really low. And Brian Bulkey came over and sat with us. He went through that script, and Trevor, you could see the clock was just turning. The machine was moving in his head, and he was thinking about what it would take, how much income he would need, how much time could he spend per week, how much time could he spend per month. And Trevor signed up to Challenge U, but it was that Challenge U, these kinds of simple steps that helped him to realize he could do this too. So
Awesome.
yeah.
And just to talk about exposures, I mean, Trevor and Dan and Stephanie, help me if I'm wrong here. We kind of talk about, so Trevor, we're picking on you and you're new. I mean, I can remember you brought him out to Health and Freedom here. Took a look. Was like, yeah, I think I want to. He's kind of, figuring it out. And then was the next exposure when I was in San Francisco doing a training, and I FaceTimed him in one-on-one so he could watch the training I was doing in the living room for a new team, a Health and Freedom presentation, and for new associates there. I literally had my phone sitting up here while I did it the whole time and said, watch it again kind of thing. Just a one-on-one type deal, right? Yep. And then what happened from there?
He signed up for the Challenge U.
He enrolled to come to the training without being an associate yet. Still checking it out. And then the Health and Freedom that night with Brian Bulkey and Dr. Troy Spurrell, and he walked out here with a Pro Pack that day. And then attended the whole training, and he's been earning weekly checks. So is it 2 or 3 in a row now?
I think it's 3 right
3 right now. Just trying to check his last week. 3 in a row. So he's doing a great job. So a couple things on moving on to skill 6 real quick, helping people get started right. When I see the word sponsor, I see responsibility. So let me talk about that. That doesn't mean I'm responsible for Cal's success. Now, I'm not Cal's sponsor, but I work with Cal directly, and I'm not responsible for Cal's success. Okay, but he's responsible for his success. But I am responsible to make sure I'm getting him started right, that I'm getting him plugged into things, that I'm getting the information, equipping him, empowering him to do that. And if you are not yet there, then use an expert to go through this. Again, listen so that you can become that expert. But that's that 1 hour game plan that's important to go through with somebody to help them get started. So let's talk a little bit about the 5-part game plan. Again, all the details in the book. First thing you want to do is validate their decision. And this should take 1 to 2 hours, depending on how much interaction, what else you need to cover during this game plan session. But it's a 5-part deal. Validate the decision. Why do you think it's important to validate the decision with somebody a couple, maybe a day or two after they get involved when you're doing this game plan session?
They're going to question whether
We made a major life decision. Does anybody ever have buyer's remorse or question things? If you bought a new truck today, would you question that tomorrow?
yes.
If you got into a new relationship tomorrow, would you question that next week? If you started a new job or quit your job, they're making a life-changing, life-altering decision. It should be for their health or for the business or both. So they're going to maybe have already talked to somebody and they weren't ready yet, and that person poo-pooed on them, rained all over their parade, and now they're questioning, well, should I listen to that person that day at the Health and Freedom, or should I listen to my friend who's broke and hasn't had a job forever and is a failure at everything they do, but they told me I'm crazy to do this. But they're still getting that input. Okay, so don't discount that. So validate their decision. You can do it a lot of different ways. I love the Rise of the Entrepreneur DVD. If they didn't see that during the before Health and Freedom presentation or after Health and Freedom, that's my validation, 100%. 100% during that new time for an associate. Again, either during the presentation part or during the validation part afterwards. Phenomenal tool for that. And there's a lot of other things that you can do. An event, introducing to other people, just answering some of their questions or objections, talking to them about the fact of everyone's going to give you their opinion. Doesn't mean you should listen to that person. We're going to work on your skills and your beliefs so you can form your own opinion. Okay? Set their expectations here. There's a couple of things real quick I want to talk about on this. A lot of times people get involved and there's 2 things I see. Sometimes people get involved and they don't want to work very much, but they want to make a ton of money. They've made 40 grand a year, their whole life, their best year ever. They want to put 5 hours a week into this. And if it's not paying them, 10 grand a month within 6 months, I'm out of here. Is that a realistic expectation? Okay. So can they make that kind of income in 6 months? Yeah, but not 5-10 hours a week. And they got to have some skills and a lot more time and everything into it. So the other thing I sometimes see is somebody who thinks it takes forever instead of knowing that, hey, we get paid every week. You mean I can earn a check this week and I can start earning checks every week and I can keep moving my business forward? I had no idea we could replace my wife's income in 4 months, but we did. I had no idea I could leave my 8-year career at my job where we combined made over a 6-figure income in 8 months, but we did. Because it's possible, and I got around other people who were doing it and learned what was possible. But the day I looked at USANA, that was not on my radar. My radar was, all right, so maybe if I do this for 5 years, my wife can maybe quit her job. And maybe in 7 or 8 years, I quit my job. And I was okay with that. That was a fine plan. At least there was light at the end of the tunnel. And I wasn't working until I was 65, doing something I didn't want to do to retire broke and go greet at Walmart. Because that's the path I was headed on. Okay? So set their expectations. This right here in the book, page 103. So if you got a book, you can flip it over to 103 real quick here. Man, look, this is my book. This is my copy. This is where it's been dog-eared, underlined, highlighted. I love this part. So I love this saying. So Trevor, I told you this. I told you this right here. In fact, we were at the training in San Francisco, and I got right in the FaceTime deal, right in the camera, and I looked right at you in the camera, and I said, look, if you succeed in this business, it's going to be because of you who creates that success, not me. And if you fail in this business, it's going to be because of you who creates that failure, not me. You are going to be the difference between success or failure. I'm here to guide you every step of the way, but I can't do it for you. I'm here to work with you, but not for you. It's the kind of conversation you need to have with somebody to let them know this is their business. They need to take ownership in it. You're a support, you're a tool, some of us are more of a tool than others, but we're here to help and support, be part of it, but I can't build their business for them. Okay. So it's important that you go through that process. And then a new associate getting started checklist. I have this real generic here because there's different teams. They do different things. There's a great one that's the getting started deal in the BDS. There's one. I'm going to introduce you to another one. I'm working on some other things to kind of make it more specialized for my team a little bit, but we still have a generic version as well. If you go to challenge, the letter U, events.com, you can pull this up. There's a little more tab. After you look over some of the information about an event we have coming up, there's a little more tab, and under resources, you can see a complete 10-week fast track game plan. Everything you need to do to get your business going, walks you right through it, your first 10 weeks. It's all around the GoPro system. It's all in there. Very, very simple system of exactly what to do your first 10 weeks in this business. Whatever system your successful upline team, mentorship team are using, plug into that system, okay? So again, we already talked about this. We're right here now. So we're back on the checklist. Now you help them get some quick results. By success breeds success. When somebody makes their first sale, they sign up their first customer, their first associate comes to a presentation, they get their first check. All these things help their belief. So help them get off to a fast start if that's their goals. First, you got to find out what they want out of this, right? But success breeds success. Continue to give them assignments with deadlines. So it might be to read GoPro book. When are you going to read it by so we can discuss it? It might be going to an event, making sure you're going to be there. It might be making sure you're bringing 3 or 4 people to this health and freedom presentation. It might be making sure they know this is the date for their Premier Platinum Pacesetter deadline if they're new. And if that's important to you, that you know that what it takes to hit that, whatever it is, make sure that you're working with them. People need some direction and some guidance. Okay? And that's where the exposure process continues. Not a lot of times people think it ends when they enroll. That's when the fun begins. That's when the important stuff begins, right? Okay. Skill number 7, promotion. According to Eric Worre, promotion is the highest paid skill in network marketing. I believe it 100%. We're going to talk about why. Events build your business. So let's talk about distributor A versus distributor B. Some people may say, well, I don't know if I need to go to that event, or maybe it's not important, and it's maybe a U.S. national celebration in Las Vegas in April. And let's say that distributor A is there, and they go by themselves, and distributor B doesn't go at all. Which one's going to have a better chance of success? A. What if A goes and they bring 10 people in their business, and B shows up by themselves? A. You see where I'm going with this? It does make a difference. It makes an impact. One of the biggest things we should all be doing in this business is leveraging our time. The greatest way you can leverage your time, I can tell you, I put a lot of hours into this training today. Okay, the best way you can leverage your time is you being here with your team, or you getting your team on the webinar replay or whatever. Okay, so any training, anything you go to, don't you getting on fire is great, but you and a group of people getting on fire, that's magic. That's leverage. That's when you get momentum. That's when you get growth. Okay, so big difference there. Destination events. For us, our international convention is a destination event. For people in USANA, not necessarily for us in Utah. We take it for granted. I have usually about 2,000 people in my business at convention. And I have people who will spend $5,000 to come from different countries around the world with airfare and maybe childcare and hotels and meals and everything else. And we have people who live 20 minutes away who blow it off. You're nuts if that's you. Okay? For us here, so we take a lot of things for granted in Utah, by the way, because we're here, we have this free room. If you were coming to a training in another place and the speaker had to spend $500 to rent a hotel room, guess what? You're all paying 10, 20 bucks to come, right? Because we're all independent business associates. We get it handed to us on a silver platter if we're in Utah. Sorry, folks, if you're not in Utah. But here's the thing. The people that aren't in Utah, they take it seriously because they don't have it. So when they have something, they take advantage of it. I started this business when I was living in San Diego. When I moved here, I took advantage of it because I had all these things, resources available, and I got that. But for us, a destination event for us would be us going to Vegas in April that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. So that's going somewhere else. When you get away from the family, it drives me crazy. Sometimes even, again, convention, I have somebody shows up day one and then they have this family crisis day two. Family crisis, maybe it was a true crisis and they would have flown home or whatever. That happens. But you know what? If you were out of town at an event, how would you handle that? Is it something you would have flown home for? Or is it something you would have got some family help or somebody else with? Something could have waited a day or two. If it's not, take care of your family, right? No matter what. But I think we get into that gray area and we give ourselves a way out a lot of times. So don't do that. For everybody in USANA, international conventions are top priority. We're going to talk more about that. I suggest that you set an annual budget for personal growth. A lot of top leaders, Jordan Kemper talks about it. Marshall Manley talks about it. Eric Worre talks about it. Look at the company I just named you a stud. Look at you. That's you. Yeah. So, but I mean, Eric Worre on his webinar. How many were on his webinar last week? Phenomenal. Phenomenal. Okay. So, yeah, it was amazing. He was dead on. But his budget was $600,000 a year was his budget. Now that's different. His budget was $500 in the beginning, right? I think is what he said. But you have to have a budget. You have to put some things aside. So you've got to grow. You grow at these events. That's where you learn. So the events are not about, have you gone to an event where you felt like people are making money off the event? They don't do that in USANA, right? You get a ton of value and information, and they're trying to cover expenses and things involved with doing that. But people are not putting events together to make money in USANA. They're doing it to pour into you, but it only happens if you take advantage of it. So I apply to all of you who are here today and those of you on the webinar. Real quick, another handout. Can I get my two?
Yes.
So to help you out, this is updated as of last night at about midnight. Updated calendar of events. These are all the important things I think you need to know about for the rest of 2016. Because you can't get it on your calendar. You can't ask for time off work. You can't get a budget if you don't know about these things. Let me say this. I'm in no way saying you need to be at all these events. One, it depends on your goals. If your goals are to dabble with the business, love the products, make $100 a week, you need to be in some stuff. If your goals are to replace your income and get to a six-figure income this year, you need to be a lot more, right? There's a big difference between what those two people need. So bounce this against your goals, not what I'm saying up here. But you do have to have a plan. So again, this is on the Facebook page. I'm gonna go through all these in detail, and there's spots in here for you to write some notes, and we're gonna do it real quick because I'm gonna stay on time here today. But before I do, because I said this is a promotion business, the number one skill is promoting. It's not just promoting events. You get good at promoting events, you should also get really good at promoting other things. I did forget one slide. My 4 hours of sleep last night that I want to bring up here in a second. But right now we have a free BDS. You should be promoting the crud out of this deal. The end of this month, I know it's only $30, but doesn't everybody want a deal?
Oh, yeah.
Won't people act for a deal?
So she get ready to start because of this deal.
Absolutely. Give them a deal. This was sent out on social media through Utah. I get it from corporate office and send it out. If you need it, I can get it to you. I think I put it on our group stuff too. Okay. It's on our Facebook deal.
Usually you can download it through the hub too.
Yeah, some of the things can be a little difficult to find sometimes. We're on the IDC, we're working on that with as much input as I can give. But listen, there's a deal here. It's going to expire. So, and people will wait, but I mean, do it, go after it right now and make sure, especially, hey, when this is that last day, you should be signing up a ton of people. It ends tonight because it creates that urgency. So I even have people right now that if I had a 200-point order for somebody who wants to become a preferred customer and they're ordering a bunch of stuff, hey, and get your business development system, there's really no difference there. So they can get a business. Now, there's some reasons I may or may not do that, depending on what their future goals may be with Premier Platinum Pay Center and stuff like that. But you got to think about that. If you're going after Premier Platinum and you need a fourth person, it's the same price, right? So we've talked about that with some of you that are going through that. All right. The other thing I don't have up here real quick that I mentioned is the Reset Nation Challenge. That's something to be promoting like crazy. We'll talk about our event here in a second, but be promoting that. The reason I don't have Eric Worre's event on here right now is because he recently made a change he's not coming to Salt Lake City anymore. I just found out a couple days ago. This is his new calendar. If you go to networkmarketingpro.com/tour, and sorry, I don't have that up there, but /tour, it has all this information. You click on the links, it'll give you the details. He's going to go spend 5 or 6 hours going through the things I did this morning with the 7 skills and a lot of other great stuff in great detail. So if you can get to one of these events, go. If you are online right now or you have team members in one of these areas, so it's not just about you. If you have a team member in Orlando, you need to make sure you're promoting this event to your team member in Orlando. I've already got anything where I've got people, it's circled, and I'll have people at these events. But he's not coming to Vegas either. I know we get a lot of people from Vegas on the webinar with us right now. This is the new calendar. So sorry to be the bearer of bad news there, but I can just tell you, I called his office, and you know why they changed that schedule a little bit? There wasn't a great response for enrollments. You have to pre-register for stuff. And I know we've had a ton of things in USANA. This is the year of the event and the year of growth for us. And that's why you got to decide what's important to you. But when somebody puts their money on the line for an event and they can have a deadline of pulling out, if registration numbers aren't looking good, I'm pulling out. If it's my payment on the line, wouldn't you? So I don't know all the details as to why they did everything there, but I'm really bummed they're not coming here and Vegas because we really use those events and they're phenomenal. But we'll take care of it ourselves, right? So also Health and Freedom webinar. So during this 90-day blitz, the first thing I said is, if I'm going to be pushing people you need to be prospecting like never before, I need to give them the tools. So every Tuesday night, we're doing a webinar. Our team's doing a webinar, Health and Freedom webinar. We've done 2. We've got one this Tuesday night. Mike Miller's doing it because I'll be here at another event that I'm talking about in a second. But I did last Tuesday, and these are kind of hard to find. So if you're on our text distribution list, then you know about them. If you're not, you can see me afterwards, and I'll try to get you some information there. But it's 7 p.m. all the way through March. We have different leaders doing these Health and Freedom webinar presentations. And then every Thursday night in this room for our local team, got together with some of the other local leaders, with the Krebs, with the Manleys, and with Justin, and said, let's make this happen. We want to have an awesome first quarter. And so we got together as a group and put together weekly Health and Freedom presentations for you. Randy and Viola did the first one. Justin did this last week. Marshall's doing this week. Coming up, I'll do the week after that. We're rotating through. And we've got, there's a 5th week in March that's open. So we're looking to develop one of you as a leader to take on that one. All right. So just know that every Thursday night. Now here's the deal. Do you think if the room's packed and we're getting results and people are bringing prospects, come April, we're going to talk about extending this? Do you think that if it's not, come April, you think we're going to extend it?
Yeah.
Right. So it's not all on us, folks. This is a tool for you to bring folks out too. We'll be there. There's a lot of work involved in putting those on. So make sure you take advantage of them. Make them a priority. Get them on your schedule. The best way to leverage your time is you approaching all week and getting people in the Tuesday night webinar, and you bringing 5 associates Thursday night doesn't take you any more time than if you brought 1 associate or came by yourself, right? Right? So bring 5 associates. Leverage is the key. Or bring 5 prospects. Leverage is the key. Make sure your team knows about it. All right. And then New Year, New You. That's coming up this Tuesday here in Salt Lake. A lot of locations have already had theirs. Some others haven't, so you can get on the hub and check those out. But Randy Krebs, Randy and Viola are hosting that. And we have Marshall Manley, Justin Hess, and Austin Weiniger from corporate doing a complete awesome deal. I know you guys probably know a lot more about it than I do because you're involved with it. But
one thing I got excited about is many of you might not know Austin Weiniger he's actually a scientist. Great presentation slide deck coming from him. So get your people out here, talk to your doctors in your area, your chiropractors you've been putting off talking to, get them out here for this event. You're gonna enjoy it.
yeah.
Get registered. Registration closes online Monday at midnight.
So guests are free.
Guests are free.
$5 right now online on Eventbrite.
Yep.
I think I was the second one to register.
Or 10 bucks, $3.50 a ticket. I mean, it's so
Yeah.
affordable, guys. So.
Yeah. So just make sure you're there. Bring guests. I think there's samplings and
Yeah, we'll do an introduction. We'll warm everybody up, and then the 6:30 to 7 will be a sampling, and then a really in-depth health and freedom with an emphasis from the scientists on the health part and nutrition, and then close it up with Randy and them about Reset Nation. So it's going to be a great event. It's been a lot of fun.
Perfect time to launch our Reset Nation challenge is coming up as well.
Yeah.
So awesome. Okay, then I'll be coming to Vegas. For those of you that are in Vegas or have teams in Vegas, I'll be out there the 4th, 5th, and 6th of February. And the 4th, we're doing Health and Freedom. On the 5th, we're doing the 6th, excuse me, we're doing 5th. I'll be mountain biking, but the 6th, we'll be doing always got to go out fine if you're doing business, right?
Yeah.
But the 6th, we'll be doing a Diamond Success Academy that we'll be presenting at and the Health and Freedom that day. So that information, all the registration information is on your sheet here, but that's at vegasignited.com. Challenge you. If you missed the one here that we did a couple months ago, go to Texas. Okay? We've got a great one coming up in Texas with a lot of our Texas leaders as well. February 18th to the 20th. You can go to challengeyouevents.com to get registered to learn more about that event. And then Leadership Summit. USANA has a bunch of them sprinkled throughout. I think there's 3 of them. But you want to figure out which one of these leadership summits you're going to attend. You're going to build your business to and qualify for and know what it takes to get to that level and then attend that event. This is a phenomenal event that you should be taking advantage of. This one's already over. I missed that one there. But March, June, and November of this year, there'll be leadership summits. And these are phenomenal. Red carpet. They treat you. I mean, it's an awesome event. For those of you that have been to them, you know what I'm talking about. This is exclusively for directors through gold directors in USANA. Okay, all the information is on the hub. This is our next big event for everybody. This is not a regional event. This is not for people in Vegas. This is our U.S. national convention. This is for everybody in America. This is where they pour into us for U.S. specific topics. International conventions are #1 deal, and it's really important, but it's also international. This is all about America, all about the U.S., and so you have the High Performance Summit for gold directors and above, then the awards gala that night, and then the training for everybody as well. So get on the hub and get all the information about that. It's all there. And also, there's a Future Leaders. By the way, I don't want to gloss over this. These are the awards they give out for that international convention. You know, that's for the whole company. This is specifically for the American market. So there's a lot of you that are probably, might be up for an award at this event, but you got to be registered for that as well. So make sure you understand that. Also, there's something that they haven't talked a lot about, but this is huge. It's a Future Leaders incentive that's part of this event. And there's some specific things that you have to do to qualify. You can learn all about that, but average a minimum of $300 per week. Increase your income by at least 30% over the incentive period. Have at least 5 personally new sponsored teammates, and they generate coming in with at least 1 business center. But this is where they're seeing who's our up and coming people, and they're going to bring you in. They're going to take care of some of your expenses while you're there, and have a special training just for you during that event in Vegas. So make sure you're looking at that, all there, all the details. Be ready for Doctors Are In. It'll be happening sometime in May. They'll be going out throughout the whole tour. We'll be in here, I'm sure, in Vegas and Texas and everywhere, just like we went through with the New Year, New You. And there's another leadership summit in there, and then international convention. Make sure you get registered for this thing. The longer you wait, the more the price goes up. Okay? A lot of us registered at convention last year. I always register for next year's convention at the convention I'm at. I paid $199 to go to convention for next year because I did it at this event. People at the door are going to be paying $500. Okay? So USANA spends millions of dollars to put on this event. I mean, we've got the Vivint Smart Arena now this week, and we've got the Salt Palace. And so can you imagine what it takes to rent that and everything they're bringing in? So again, we're independent contractors. They pass that on to us. That's how it works. We go to that event. But make sure you get registered. If you have associates who have vouchers, one thing we really changed on the IDC now, you notice that there's no longer vouchers. There are specific tickets to convention, specific tickets to the U.S. national event, or both. And I'm working right now on some other things. I'm pushing real hard to make that even better, and a lot of us are. So, but if they have a voucher, they have to redeem that, okay? So again, when they have a special, take advantage of it. At convention, we bought packs of these for our team. Our team bought their share, right? I facilitated that because I want my team there. A lot of leaders did, but we paid $200 to go to that event because we registered there. So there's packs that are available for the US event in Vegas. So take a look at those, team up, and save some money and get your team there. Another leadership summit, just kind of rotating through because there's 3 of them. And then who's going to Costa Rica? I mean, I always say, what's better than a vacation? A vacation somebody else pays for, right?
One with all your USANA friends all your USANA families.
It's not even just a free vacation, the things you learn from hanging out with the people that are there at that vacation. So absolutely, that's the priceless part. It's all on the hub, all the details are there. It's open to anybody. The contest is well underway, but it's all based off growth. So if you're brand new and you grow by $5,000 in income in just commission, is no different than if I grow by $5,000 in income in just commission. Okay, you're not competing with anybody but yourself, and there's no maximum amount of people. Everybody can go. You can win part or all, depending on what you do. It's all based off of growth. All the details are there. If you're treating this seriously, I guarantee that you're filling out your growth tracker. Last night, my growth tracker is already filled out for what I did last week. It's always up. I know exactly where I'm at, exactly what growth I'm at, because I'm serious about it. If I'm not serious, we'll see what happens. But, hey, did I get a trip or not? But I'm serious about it, so I know exactly where I'm at. All right. So closing up here before we take a quick break on skill 7, I want to just a few more things. What's the most important event?
Costa Rica.
I'm hearing a lot of the right answers. You've been paying attention. Great job. So the most important event is our international convention. It is. If you can say I can only go to one thing, the international convention's in. But the question is, what's the second most important event? The next one. Event to event, exposure to exposure. And again, maybe not every one of these on this list, depending on your goals, but you've got to figure out your calendar based off your goals, your budget, and everything else. But it's going to take some time. It's going to take some money. If you ever want to know what somebody's priorities are, what do you look at? Where they spend their money and what's on their calendar. You can tell me all day long what's important to you, but if I look at your calendar and your checkbook or however they do that these days, your card statement, that's what's going to tell me really what's important to you. Starbucks, and or whatever it is, and no event, right? What kind of event can you go to? What kind of personal growth can you go to if you cut $5 a day out of your habit? Have a rev or something, okay? I'm not saying don't split. I mean, just think about what you can do. Steal time and money away from things that are negative in your life that you can reallocate to things that are more powerful. So again, promoting events, the highest paid skill in network marketing. In our business, we got to Growth 100 last year because we promoted events. I wasn't building, but I was promoting events. I had my people there. I'm building now, and I'm growing a lot more this year than I was last year. And then this is all in the book. Posers, they announce, hey, there's an event. Amateurs, hey, do you want to go to the event? Professionals promote. So give me examples of what things you would do if you were promoting an event. Throw it out there, yell it.
Edify the speaker.
Edify the speaker, okay? You give value to the event, right? What else? What? Free samples, okay? Pick them up, drive them, yeah. I know you're going if you're in my car. Trevor.
If you wanted to know more about USANA, this is the event you don't want to miss.
Urgency, this is the event. So here's the deal. If your prospects know we have a health and freedom every Thursday, there's no urgency. Well, I couldn't make it because there was something on TV this week, so maybe I'll come next week. You've got to treat every event like this is it. They don't need. I mean, you just need to promote this event and why they need to be here tonight. Okay? If there's a health and freedom tonight. What else?
When you're training a new associate, you say, open your calendar right now, block these dates that you're going to Costa Rica.
Awesome. During the game plan, open their calendar with them and get things on their calendar right there. Awesome idea. Okay. How about you attending the event? We're much more likely to promote an event we're going to. I'll admit, I did not do a great job promoting Sweet Retreat. Yet I'm glad we have a lot of great leaders at Sweet Retreat. There's a lot going on right now, but Sweet Retreat's going on this weekend. We still have a packed house, and that's also why we're recording this for people who are missing it. So, promote. Get good at it. I'm not a natural promoter. I have to think about it, schedule it, and do it deliberately. Other people are natural promoters. okay? So if it's not your natural self, you got to figure it out. Let's take a 10-minute break real quick. I've got a lot of other things I want to cover. There'll be tools available back there. Use the restroom, drinking fountain, whatever you need to do. Let's be back in here 10 minutes ready to roll, okay? Take a 10-minute break here. See you in a few. If you're watching the recording, you can just fast forward, by the way, to the end of our break. All right. Everybody grab your seats. On to part 2. All right, was the first part helpful?
Yes, sir.
Okay, always important to sharpen that saw, review those skills, practice those skills. I suggest you role play them with somebody on your team, somebody that's not on your team, your spouse, anybody. Stephanie would be a great person to role play with. Really sharpen those skills. So that's hey, it's real life stuff. So that's where you want to go. Get to where you're maybe doing the script, and then you're going be that difficult person and see how they handle it. Just learn from it. Okay, that's good. All right. So a couple things here. There's 2 different ways people build their USANA business. What do you think I'm talking about? Customers and associates. Anything else? Slow or fast? Online or in person? Product driven, health driven? Or business driven, product driven? What else? Warm market, cold market? Think that's what I'm talking about? No. I'm talking about intentional or accidental, right? I'm talking about the person who has a business plan for their business and knows how they get paid and knows how things work versus the person who does the activities and then sees if USANA deposits a check in their account this week or checks online management and see what's going on. So we're going to cover, you're all familiar with this slide. We're going to spend some time digging into mainly here, a little here, but I have some goals I want to do with this. I want to make sure that you all know how to earn, that you know the basics of the compensation plan, that you know how to look at your business and figure out what you need to do to raise your check or earn a check, and that you know what you need to do any week to earn a check, and that you can look at people's business in your organization, you can analyze and you can tell them what they need to do to earn a check. Okay? I think it's incredibly important that we know how to get paid. So again, we'll talk about these things. We're going to define some things to get started here, like the whole this is a football deal. We're going to start right there, some of the basics. So SVP, what does that stand for? Sales volume points. USANA is an international company. We're all over the world, and so we have dollars that we pay, but we have points. So if a product's sold in any country, there's a point value no matter what country it's in, but there's a different dollar or way they're going to be paying for it with exchange rates and stuff like that, depending on what country they're in. So it's important you understand sales volume points to us. That's like currency, right? So sales volume point. Basically, if you were to average everything out, it's approximately about $1.30 to get one sales volume point. About $130 if you were to do a 100-point order right now. Depends on what you order. Some points have a bigger spread, or products have a bigger spread than other products. So, that's all depending on what you're using. It's all on the price list. What is a CVP? I heard a lot less people yell it out. Okay. Commission volume points, right? Commission volume points. So for us, commission volume point equals $1, $1 US. Again, it's different in different countries, but when you talk about if somebody look at the commission schedule or commission plan and they earn 128 commission volume points, they earn $128, okay? Here in America. PV, what's that? Personal volume. So personal volume is the same as sales volume points, the same kind of thing, but what's the difference? Anyone? Personal volume is what you're ordering yourself every 4 weeks to stay active and qualify for commission. Sales volume points are what's happening, and any product has a sales volume point attached to it, and then that's happening below you is going towards your commission. Okay. Is that anything else? Got it. Okay, perfect. So, associate price list. And we all know there's going to be a price adjustment here real soon, but I'm sure the price list is going to look very close to that, but that's going to be happening here in a week or two, a couple weeks. So obviously there are price increases on raw materials and everything else. We're all seeing around us everywhere. It happens to USANA too. Once a year they adjust things as they need it to versus all the time. So there'll be an annual price adjustment coming up here soon. Be a slight, I've already seen it, it's not a big deal. But just know that's coming. But there's a couple things you want to learn about here. Suggestion retail points we've talked about. These are your sales volume points. and preferred price. So what that means is an associate, a customer, anybody who buys from the company, when we buy, we pay preferred price. We all pay the same price. Now, if you're on auto order, you receive a 10% discount off everything that's on your auto order. You get 10% below the preferred price on your auto order, okay? But suggested retail, they just have to have a number on there. But that doesn't mean you can't sell this for whatever you want. We'll talk about that in a second here. But this is, they got to have a number there. And so the problem that you're going to see here is if you're talking to somebody who's a retailer, my background was retail. And in retail, you work off about a 40-45% margin roughly. So if I'm a retail person and I want to put this, and I own a tanning salon, and I want to put this these products in there. Not that there's anything wrong with tanning salons if that's your thing, but don't get me started on that whole deal anyway. Whatever business you want to have, brick and mortar business, whatever, and you want to retail products, we have veterinarians, chiropractors, gyms, all kinds of places that do this. But if you're looking just at this amount, you're going to say, well, I'm not making enough money. I'm not making enough money if I only mark this up to here. So I'll give you an example. When you do this, if you sell a product on your website, if an associate or a customer, anybody goes to your USANA website and they buy that product, they're going to pay that suggested retail amount. Let's say they buy a set of essentials. They're going to get charged $53.85 from your USANA website. You're paying $48.95. USANA is going to throw $4.90 back on your check. Your next commission check is going to include that as well. Okay? That doesn't mean you can't go out and retail the products for whatever you want. You can sell them for anything you want to. If you sold retails for $59.95 and your cost was $48.95, now you're making $11. You can sell them for $99.99 if you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay? Whatever, you think the market will bear, or whatever you want to work with. What I have to explain to retail type people who might have this in their I'm thinking of our veterinarian. I had to explain to him, look, he's marking them up way more than here, and he still says it's a lot cheaper than the other product he used to use. But I'm explaining to him, look, you can make 10 to 20% on the back end from commissions on the stuff I'm going to share with you guys in a few minutes. So you have to explain that to them, that you might make 20% on the front end and 20% on the back end, still 40%. Or you can mark it up, sell for more if you want. Okay? So I just want to make sure you understand the difference here and how that works. All right, now we're into the bulk of this, and that is weekly commissions. Making sure you understand how this works. So the big thing here is the compensation plan is not difficult. It's different. And what I mean by different, I don't mean different in network marketing. There's some big differences as well in the industry. But what I mean is for a person who is a new prospect looking at this and they say, I'm used to making X amount of dollars per hour. I work this many hours. I make this much money a month times 12 months. That's how people are used to looking at their income, right? It's different than that. It's a commission for one, and there's some things that we follow to make that happen. But I understand this compensation plan forward and backwards. And I have for a long time because I knew it was important for me to understand it if I was going to maximize it, get paid off it, explain it, answer questions. But I'll tell you what, if I sat down with you right now and I did a presentation and Katie said, I really want to learn more about that compensation plan. I can draw it all out on a napkin, frontward, backwards, or whatever. But you know what she's doing right now? I don't think I can do that. Even if getting it's one thing, explaining it's another. So me drawing on a napkin, I'm just creating an objection to her of, wow, I have to learn how to do that. I don't want my brand new person thinking she has to learn how to do that. So one, I'm going to let her know I'm going to help her. But two, I'd watch the video with her. Instead of, even though I can explain it, I'm going to watch this 12-minute video because one, it does better than I can do. Two, the graphics are phenomenal and it builds and everything is. And three, it's duplicatable. What that told Katie was, you don't have to know all this and draw this out on a napkin like I just did. What you have to know is where the video is and how to push play. Okay? It doesn't matter what works, it matters what duplicates. Also in the GoPro book. Okay? So it doesn't matter if I could draw the comp plan out, it matters just can my folks do it. Now I want to help you understand it, so when somebody has a question, that's what we're going to talk about the rest of the day. But use the tools, whether it's the video, phenomenal video. The stuff in the Health and Freedom newspaper. But most importantly, there's a ton of people who care about your success. If you're working with me, You don't have to worry about explaining it because I'm going to be sitting down there explaining it with you with your prospects, or at least I've offered to, right? Whether you take advantage of that's another thing. It's up to you. But we do that together enough times, you're going to get it. It wasn't like I got involved in USANA and I understood it. I was making money and didn't know how it was working. But I knew it was working. And I had somebody helping me to do all that stuff. And then I went through some training and then things. So for some of you today, the light's going to go on. For some of you, the light's already on. You're going to learn something new. For some of you, I hope I don't confuse anybody, but you're going to go, I get a little bit more, but I know I need to watch that video again. I need to use my expert. I need to do a little bit more training. I need to just mess with it myself. I need to draw some circles out on the whiteboard and see what happens. I need to plug some numbers in here and there, okay? So that's what I want to help you out with. But use the resources you have, okay? Don't feel like you got to figure this stuff out. Talked about it. Skill 1 and 2. Find prospects, invite them. Let your upline, if you're new, do a lot of that work for you. We're here for you, okay? Listen and learn so you can be that expert. All right. The rules are simple. To activate a business center, you buy a BDS, or these days you get one free, and you do at least a 200 sales volume point order, a one-time product purchase to activate your business, right? 200 points activates one business center, 400 points activates 3 business centers. There's some of the new packs that are also give you more value, have vouchers that are maybe 500 points or whatever. To remain active, it's a minimum of 100 sales volume points or personal volume every 4 weeks, not every month, but every 4 weeks. It's a 4-week rolling calendar, okay? So there's 13 cycles in a USANA year, not 12, okay? It's important to know. So every 4 weeks, 100 points is the minimum to stay active in a business. It keeps your number 1 business center active. 200 points will keep all business centers you have, whether it's you have a 3 business center or you have reentry, you get 4, 5, 6. Breland has 7, 8 business centers. We get about 35 business centers. No matter what, I still do a 200-point auto order. I don't have to do 3,500 points because I have 35 business centers. So it's 200 for multiple. Small side minimum, the minimum volume that'll generate a check is you have to have at least 125 sales volume points in both sides of a business center for it to generate a check. If it's less than 125, it stays in the bank and rolls over to the next week, as long as you stay on auto order. Okay, that's what keeps your bank open, all right, is your auto order. The maximum small size, the most a business center will pay out is $1,000. Now you see I have a little asterisk here. It's actually $1,250. And I'm going to show you later as we get into it that a business center will pay you $1,250 per week instead of $1,000. I'll show you how that works. Okay, so we've all seen this slide probably. A lot of people do it in their health and freedom. I'll just tell you the way I do a health and freedom presentation. I don't do the compensation plan. What I have seen over 20 years is that's where I see people go from excited and following to this glazed look. And that's where I lose them, and that's where I create objections. If you or your sponsor are doing something different, stick with whatever works for you. For me, what I cover is the 6 ways to earn income. They need to know they make money. They need to know we get paid every week. They need to know I'm going to be there to help them. That's what they need to know. They don't need to get all the comp plan is a training issue, not a prospecting issue as far as I'm concerned. So yeah, they need to learn it, but not to get involved, right? Okay. I mean, how many of you understood the comp plan forward and backwards before you made the decision and pulled the trigger and put your credit card on the line for a USANA business? One person, 2, I see 2 hands, you analytical people. That's okay. Or you're just really good with numbers. Okay. I went to West Jordan High School. My math is not that. I went with Tony. We went to the same high school together. Right? Most of it in the auto shop. So anyway, my math isn't that great, so I have to use the tools. Okay, so the basics of it. We've all seen this. You have, showing you right here, you have a left and a right side of your business. This is one business center. I'm sorry, the roof is shaky for some reason, where the projector is. But the deal here that I want you to see is that you have, what's the small side of these two, or what they would call the match side? What is it? Yell it out. What's the small?
1,400.
1,400, okay? They're going to take the lower of those two. You have 1,400. It's over 125. It's both sides. So they're going to multiply it by 20%. You're going to make 280 commission points, which is, in America, $280, right? Okay? They're going to subtract what they paid you on. So they're going to take away the 1,400 here. They're going to take away 1,400 here. You're going to have 100 that's going to roll over next week, as long as you stay on your auto order, okay? And that'll roll over and be in the bank for you next week, okay? Pretty simple. Now, when you do 5,000 left and 5,000 right in a week, total volume in any business center, the first 2 times you do that, you're going to earn what's called a reentry or an additional business center. You're going to place that additional business center in your business down below yourself. Every business center you have has the ability to pay you up to $1,250 a week. So more is good. It's like if you owned a restaurant and business was booming, so you open up another restaurant, only in USANA, it's not another headache. It's just another center down below yourself. Let me explain it this way. A lot of comp plans, the wider you go is how you make your money. There's an old saying, the width of your organization is the size of your check, the depth is your stability. As greedy Americans, what do? We build a wide business to make more money that's not stable, that falls apart and crashes and becomes a job, not a residual lifetime income. Right? That's what happens. I see a lot of times. We're forced to choose wide or depth. That's a saying in network marketing. In USANA, I don't have to go wide. I build deep, but I'm building underneath my reentries. Every new reentry has the ability to pay me another $1,250 a week. So while it's paying me here or paying you here, it's helping your team. It's paying Jill, people who helped you get successful. It's now going up toward them, right? But it's also making this more stable. So I'm building more income while building my stability in one motion. I don't have to choose USANA. That makes sense? Huge difference. When have you ever heard of somebody in another comp plan of your upline becoming your downline? And people are like baffled by that. Yeah. So we started with 3 business centers, have 35, West Jordan Math, 32 business centers that I have down below the original people who started with us. Okay, anything we do in those business centers goes up towards them. I have an incentive right now in my core group where I'm working, where I'm giving away a reentry to a winner based off of a contest I have going on, that I'm going to put a reentry of one of mine down below somebody who gets that. So it's available out there. You know, here's how you get somebody in your upline to reenter with you. If you're tearing it up, they want to be part of what you're doing too. Okay, they're going to want to reenter with you, because if I put a reentry in the leg of my business that's not paying me anything, I got to build both sides of it, or if there's no leader there. But if I put a reentry in a leg where I have a leader, and it's also good for me and good for them, and I put it in their weak leg, and they build one side and I build one side, their weak leg's becoming strong with half their effort, half my effort. My reentry being built with half their effort, half my effort, right? So there's a lot of magic that can happen and leverage from a reentry. You get a reentry the first 2 times, you do 5,000 left and right in any center. So number 1, 5,000 left and right, you get a reentry, put it down below. First 2, you can put anywhere you want, okay? And don't get freaked out on the whole reentry thing. When you earn them, you'll know how it works to where you'll know how to place them, and you'll have people that, you can still get guidance and input. I'll be happy to help analyze somebody's business with them and give them pros and cons of whatever decision. But the next time you do 5,000 left to right, you get another reentry. First 2 times. After that, the 3rd time, you're still making your $1,000 to $1,250 a week, if that, depending on what's going on here. I'm still making $1,250 every week on my number 1. I have every year for within 8 months. My number 1 is maxed out Monday morning on auto orders every week, and has been $1,250. Does 2 to 500,000 left and right now of volume. So it's pretty solid. But if I want more reentries, now this one, when it does 5,000 left and right, there's 2 more available there. Your brand new one, if you have just earned number 7, when it does 5,000 left and right, there's 2 more available there. So there's no limit. You don't need a ton. I need 7 or 8 good ones, and I'm good to go. I'm fat, dumb, and happy. Love it. Okay? Nothing wrong with that. But if you want more than that, you can get them. Real quick back here. You also put preferred customers. They don't go down below. Now, Bob has his preferred customers, and all that generates volume. But you put preferred customers off the left and right side of any business centers you have. So again, if you have it down here, I'm going to put my preferred customers down here, so it pays me here and here as well. But does that make sense? Yeah. The business people go down in your genealogy, where the preferred customers go off the left and right side. It all goes towards your volume. But once I've filled my 2 frontline positions in this case, and I sponsor more associates, I put them down below. But all my preferred customers are always going here or off whatever is my lowest reentry where I'm working. Cal.
Good question. I had a prospect ask me yesterday. So the PC is there right now, and that PC now, 2 years, decides to become an associate.
Excellent. Okay. So the question is, You sign up a PC there for 2 years, orders products because I love the products, I want to become an associate. Completely different transaction. They cancel their PC account. They can immediately sign up as an associate. There's no waiting period or anything. They buy a BDS. They activate their business center. You put them over here now if you want, or anywhere else you want. Completely different transaction. Good question. Excellent question. Thank you. All right. And then so this also shows the difference between the 1 business center that we looked at and the 3 business center. So remember, every business center you have, we go back here, you have a left and a right. And if you sponsor these 2 people and then you sponsor 2 more, you're going to put one down here and maybe one over here or wherever. You select where they go. Okay? But they all have this left and right. If you go back to the 3 business center, the left of your 1 is your 2. The right of your 1 is your 3. You now have a left and a right in your 3 and a left and right in your 2. So as you're building your 2 and 3, that's what you're kind of looking at. It's also rolling up and paying you on your 1 as well. That's how you make 20% commission because you're getting paid twice versus 10% commission getting paid once with a 1 business center. Okay? So I'll give you an example. Put Bob in here. Bob orders a 500 or 700 point order. Let's say he does, one of the new packs and adds a couple of health packs on it. That 700 points is going to go up to your 2 left. But look, it's also connected to your 1 left. So that 700 points is going up here. This 700 points is going up here. So now you have small side volume. If you look, just kind of isolate it. Look at your number 2. It has 700 small side volume. Number 3 has 750 small side volume. And your small side of your number 1 is still 1,400, just like it was back here when we were looking at the 1 business center. We looked over here, 1,400, and it paid you 280, right? Same volume, same people, same points applied to a 3 business center moving forward again, because it's paying you and then paying you again. You now are earning $570. That's how it's paying you twice. Okay? And now you have the ability to earn 2, 4, 6 re-entries that go down below, and all of those are good as well. So again, as I mentioned, just to touch one thing on the re-entries, the big thing you need to know is the first 2 you can put anywhere you want. Okay? So if you have an opening here, boom, you can put those anywhere. After that, you have to have 10 active people in a line. Between, if this was my number 3 here, and Matt, 10 people that were active doing a 100-point order at least every month before I could place my number. If I already get 1, 2, 3, 4, now I'm or 5. Now I'm place my number 6, let's say, because that's my 3rd re-entry. I have to have 10 active people there. Again, don't get freaked out on that. It's a lot of information, but I want you to understand that. First 2 go anywhere. After that, they have to have 10 active people.
Even if the first 2 business center 4 is your first 1. So 4 and 5, does that still count?
Yes, from any business center you have above it. Okay? So any business center that you have above it. So the question is he's asking, is the 10 start here or does the 10 start here? The 10 starts here because this is your business. So it's from here to get that 10 before you can put number, say, 6 or whatever below 4. But good question. Yeah, one more.
Start with the 3 business centers, so you theoretically could get the 6 extra business.
Yep.
For those initial ones, and you can put those anywhere you want.
No, the first 2 you earn no matter where they come from. Okay, so whether you start with 1 or 3 business centers, your first 2 total new re-entries are where you can put anywhere. Yeah. See, look, that's what I'm saying. There's different things wherever you're in business. For some of you, like, I don't need to know this, but for some of you do need to know this. So that's why take what you need, let the rest of it just get deposited until you need it later, okay? I want to get more into some important stuff here real quick. We're going to do some practice because practice makes what? No, practice makes profit. You don't have to be perfect. Practice makes profit. I want those red 3s back. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so we're going to do some serious practice here real quick. Now, first thing is, my son, who was back there earlier, could draw the compensation plan out when he was 6 because he was around it. He was wondering where he fell in there, but that was Alec when he was 6 years old, drawing this out on my whiteboard. So, and if you can't, so what I'm saying is if he can figure it out, you can figure it out because he was 6 years old. Now, if you can't figure it out and you need some more help, I've got another idea for you. Okay? So I know he's never going to join another company. He's locked in. That's fake. But Jameson, if you're watching, thanks. That was, I think, your little handiwork. All right. So we're going to go through this, and we're going to get involved, and we're going to yell stuff out. And if you're wrong, don't worry about it. We're learning together. We're going to take a risk. We're going to figure it out, see if you can stay with us. So I got a lot of different things here, and I put all this together last night, so let me see if I know what's coming up here. First thing is left and right side. What's the check? What's the small side there? Yell it out, 1,400, okay? So 1,400 times 20% commission. This was your business. You just do this simple math. You're gonna make $280 this week on a one business center. We're gonna stick with the basics on a one business center for a few minutes. We're gonna apply it to a three business center. Okay, what's the small side here? 125. Good. Take that times 20%, $25 check. It's the minimum check USANA will pay. If it's less than that, it stays in the bank. If that was 124, it wouldn't cut a check. And next week you start with 124 there, and anything you did new adds on top of that, cuts you a check. Okay? So small side, 2,800, right? $560 check. It's just math. Small side, 3,820. That's right. Pretty simple stuff. $764 check. Small side. Oh, wait a minute. No check, right? Why? Because it has to have a 125-point minimum. So you don't lose this. Some companies, whatever's left over, when they cut their pay period off, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, whatever it is, if it's left over, you start over with zero. USANA, we have rollover minutes. Rollover minutes. I was just saying. I use that example as an analogy a lot of times. It's like the rollover minutes. I love it. I'll take the rollover money than the rollover minutes any day. But it's money in the bank. But what this means is, as long as I keep doing my auto order, I'm not going to lose it in my personal volume. Then next week, I'm starting off with this. Any new volume, where am I going to work next week? The right side, right? So again, minimum 125 points. So you all did good on that one. All right, now three business center. Now it gets a little tricky maybe for some of us. You simply isolate it. Just look at your two, look at your three, and then look at your one and see how it all adds up here. You take all those, you add them together, get your total small side volume, as long as they're all over 125, and multiply that by 20%, $504 check for the week. Okay? You with me? Everybody good? Okay? So you take this small side, just picture this. A lot of times what I do is if I'm looking at a genealogy, like a tree view type thing, put a piece of paper, your hands or whatever, over and isolate just one business. Just look at your two. What volume does it have? It has over 125. It has 510 as the small side. Write it down. What is your three? It has over 125. It has 900 as the small side. Write it down. And then we look at our one, knowing that everything, all new volume that's in our two, and we have 2,550 total sales volume points of small side times 20%, $504 check. I'm going to show you how you don't have to, this is all managed for you on USANA system, but you do need to know that if you're, how to analyze this stuff, how to look at it, okay? For a lot of different reasons we're going to get into. Small side, same deal here, right? Add all those up, 6,700 total, so it's not 5,000, it's 5,000 if it's on one center, right? Is the most it's going to pay, right? But you add all these up, they're all over 125, they're less than 5,000, so all 100% goes in, and 20%, $1,340 is what you're going to make for the week. Okay? Now this one. See anything tricky here? Okay? So a lot of times it'd be easy to miss that in a three center because you're already looking at the left and you're saying, okay, I've got 2,000 here, and I got the 120 because you're thinking of it, okay? But look at it individually, every business center you have. So that'll carry over to the next week, no big deal. But there's your check. That was a good catch for those of you that got that.
Unless you go in and buy something from the store.
So Tony had a good point. If it's important to you, you want it. If I needed some extra products, we're going to talk about that. You go buy it from yourself, right? Let's just touch on that right now while we're here. if I need something, okay, I do my auto orders, 200 points. How many of you do a 200-point auto order? How many of you that do 200-point auto order but use more than 200 points in your household, family, or whatever? About 80% of the hands stayed up. Okay, so if I need bars, should I go down to the store and buy some bars that maybe aren't good for me, or should I buy them for myself? If I was a Chevy dealership, again, my background's automotive, but if I worked at a Chevy dealership and you were coming, let's say I'm a salesperson for a Chevy truck, and I have an appointment, you're going to come buy a truck for me today. I pull up in a brand new Ford. How you feeling? Probably not going to buy a truck for me, right? Okay. So when people are watching you, and trust me, they are, and you're eating another bar, you're drinking a Monster, or you're, whatever, make it part of your lifestyle, okay? And you should be doing that anyway. If you have the belief I have in these products, you should be using the products like that anyway. You have your own store, buy from yourself. So we're talking about how that affects things in a little bit. All right. So USANA does the math for you. You don't have to get freaked out, but I do want you to understand again how to analyze this stuff. This is just an example of somebody who has multiple business centers. 1122 is their check for this week. And what you're looking at here is the total volume. We're going to go through the different columns here in a minute. But if you just look at the total left and total right, USANA is going to do it all for me here. But any business center I have that has at least 125 on it, it's going to count towards that. This one doesn't have 125 on the right. Neither does this one. This one doesn't on the left. These all do. Those are all my small sites. If I add them all up, it's going to pay me $1,120. If you do the math and check it out, it also is going to tell you exactly how much you're making on every one of these business centers. Okay? So they do the math for you, but you still need to understand how it works. Okay. Rollover. We touched on that a little bit. This is where people get confused. I have it happen occasionally where somebody looks down at their 3. Let's give you an example here. Let's say, I'm doing this kind of spontaneously. So let's see, that's a 38, 42. So let's say I looked at this and I said, wait a minute, I have 2,800 here and 1,400 here. So that's 4,200. So I've got 4,200 in my left of my 1, because Brian said everything in my 2 is the left of my 1. So I've got 4,200 over here. So you're saying I can go silver director if I do 800 more points? Can you see the confusion? Here's what happens. People don't realize that this is what happened. I'm going to show you in this scenario right here. If this was your check this week, you got paid on all these, the 1,400 here, the 3,400 here, the 1,900 here. When they pay you, what do? They subtract it because they paid you on it, right? Wouldn't that be an awesome residual income? IDC submission. No, I'm kidding. All right. So they're going to subtract that. They're going to take away the 1,400 here. They're going to subtract 1,400 from here too, right? They're going to subtract the 3,400. We're going to start over here first. Subtract the 1,900 here, and it's going to go to 600. And they're going to subtract the 3,400 from here and go to 1,600. So they paid you on it. Now, new volume, again, the mistake somebody would make is go, well, there's 1,400 in the left of my 2, so I must have 1,400 in the left of my 1. They already paid you on that. That's why there's a difference between rollover, because they pay you different, business centers pay different amounts, and new volume. New volume, you put 500 new points in here this week, that 500 still goes up here. Does that make sense? Yeah. New volume always rolls up. Rollover, it already rolled up before. It just either paid you or didn't based off of how it matched on the other side or how much it matched. So just to understand that, because that's where people get a little lost in the mud when it comes to that. Yes?
There's a great tool that USANA has also. They have a 4-week volume report that you can plug. It'll plug in what you currently are making that week, and then it'll show you what your rollover is for the next week.
Okay.
The report that they don't want for you.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
I have not used that one.
I use that one a lot.
Okay.
Really useful.
A 4-week rollover. Okay.
It'll show you projected like auto orders.
So yeah, I know I'm familiar with the 4-week report. We're going to talk about auto orders and how that affects. So you're talking about just auto orders or also rollover? Because
rollover, it'll show you like if you were at what you were up there, it'll show you the next week.
I got you. So what she's saying is a report where it will. See, the thing is for me, I'm cranking till midnight Mountain Time on Friday night. So if I'm looking on a Wednesday, that rollover is going to be totally different than on Friday. So I worry about, for me, I work till that time, and then like you know, right now auto orders are still going through. So if you look today at your business, I look at my business today, it's all over the place.
I run that report Monday.
Gotcha.
After.
So Monday morning, I'll pull up my volume and it'll show on my rollover. All my auto orders have already processed or should have. The ones that haven't, I'm going to show you how to handle those during this time because that's an incredibly important thing. Okay, but good stuff. The bottom line is you're using the tools to analyze your business and understand it, to plan your week and maximize your check. So congratulations. That's phenomenal. That's what we should all be doing. Okay. So does that rollover help? It's easy on a one business center or with the, you know, when it's all equal. We look at the original slides and it's showing perfect balance and everything. It's not a perfect world. So we need to understand how this works. Okay. When it pays you, they take it away from you. A new volume rolls up again. Rollover stays in as long as you're active. Rollover again, just real quick, and we'll touch on this in a little bit, but 100 sales volume points, if you do that on your auto order or personal volume, you're only keeping the light switch on for your number one. If you own a 3-bedroom house and right now you're living there by yourself and 2 of the bedrooms are guest rooms and you've got the AC vents closed, the lights off, the windows, you know, shut down, you still own that 3-bedroom house, but you're living in one, right? You have guests come over, you turn the lights on, you clean it up a little bit. You still got the 3-bedroom house, now you're using it. It's like that with a 3-business center. You started with a 3-business center, you do a 100-point auto order, you still own number 2 and 3, but you're not using them. You're only getting credit on number 1. It's only capturing volume on number 1. That switch is only on number 1. 200 points, it's captured everywhere. It's capturing every business center you have. That's the difference. We'll show you how that works a little bit later. So another thing to understand is that kind of just how adding some volume to your business will impact your check. If this was your business, this is a fantastic looking business. I think we'd all agree with that. You can see we have 2,400 as a small side over here on our 1. We have 1,400 on our 2. We have 19 on our right over here on our 3. And if I'm looking at this, the first thing you do when you analyze your business is look at your 1. Which is the small side of our 1? The left side. So if I want to maximize my business and the left side is my smallest side of my 1, where should I be looking? At my 2. Because if I have in this situation, I have enough volume here to balance out what I'm going to do. I have enough volume here to balance out what I'm going to do. If I put 200 points in right here, it's going to pay me here and here. If I put 200 points here, it's not going to pay me here, but it'll pay me here. So it pays me once. Here's twice. If I put 200 points here, it doesn't pay me at all. Goes into rollover for here, but it's already the strong side here and here, right? If I put 200 here, it pays me once because it pays me here, but not there. That's why I always start with my 1. Just keep it simple. Start with your 1, small side, identify it. It's the left. The left of my 1 is my 2. I look at my 2. The small side is my right. My project leg this week should be my 2 right because it pays me twice. That doesn't mean I ignore this, because if I have people here that want to work and they're bringing people out, that's going to increase my check up here, but not here. It's still going to roll over for the future. It's still a great thing. I still want that growth. I'm still going to work here and support my people. This will increase my check a little bit. This won't, but I still want to build my team. So I'm going to support everybody, but I'm working here. I'm sponsoring here. I'm building here. I'm calling down here. I'm presenting here. That's where you should be focused that week. Next week, it might change. It might be over here in a couple weeks. Okay? So keep that in mind. So let's look and see what happens here. This was our volume. We go to work, we sell, let's just say I don't care if we found somebody whose auto order didn't go through and we called them and it went through. Let's say you sold 2 health packs like Leonard Gainey did last week in Las Vegas. You put that order as PSP over here. Let's say you did that. What's going to happen is that's going to raise those 2 and your check just went up $80. Okay? Paid you 40 more in your 2 and 40 in your 1 off of that. So 200 sales volume points goes in and pays $80. You know, we say 20%, and it is 20% commission. I'm not great at math, but I know that $80 on 200 points is more than 20%. So the way I look at it personally is if I put in, let's say 1,000 points of volume this week in this leg, and I make another $400 because I'm going to make 200 here and I'm going to make 200 here, I look at it as I'm making 40% on what I do this week. So does that make sense? I'm only making 20% commission, but the bottom line is I'm making 40% on my performance. I'm making 40% on what I add to my business. That's the way you should look at this business. Now you have a reentry down here. There's times I can put in 1,000 points of orders of new people or whatever, and I can get paid here, increase your leadership bonus or something. There's times I make over $1,000 by putting in 1,000. So it's getting those reentries. It's understanding how that weak leg works. It's getting into some of the other incentives that are there. Does that make sense? Okay. So everybody has what's called a personal sales position, or PSP, on the left and right side of any business center you own. So this is where you put extra orders in. This is when, so if I sign up an associate, they go down line. I sign up a PC, they go on left or right of one of my business centers. I do my auto order, goes in my personal volume, right? I need more volume than that. I sell somebody, let's say somebody wants to try a set of essentials. They don't want to sign up as a PC. They don't want to go to my website. They say, hey, can you just show me a set of essentials? I say, sure, right? That's where I put in these PSP orders. USANA created these personal sales positions that allow you to order extra products above and beyond what you need so that it actually goes towards your income. If I do a 400-point auto order, that's not a good choice. I've seen 400, 500-point auto orders, folks. I've also seen 199-point auto orders. So you need to make sure they understand it's points, not dollars. That's why I tell my people, like we've told Jared, say, hey, don't change this. Call me, let me help you walk through it a few times. When you need help, let's do it right. When we do it a few times, you'll get it. You'll be fine on your own. You mess it up, USANA's here. They're on our team. They want us to win. You make a mistake, they'll probably let you fix it. Unless you make a mistake a lot, and then they'll say, maybe, yeah. I mean, we want to use it, not abuse it kind of thing, okay? Let's not be that person that has to get our volume reinstated every week kind of thing. So what I mean by that, let's say you're out of the country, and your credit card gets flagged because you're somewhere over the country. They shut it off or whatever. If that's ever happened to you, it's happened to me, because they think you're some kind of fraudulent stuff going on. That's what's set to your auto order, or your expiration date changed while you were gone, and all of a sudden you're like freaking out. They can't get a hold of you. Your auto order doesn't process. You get back and realize you lost all your volume. USANA's not going to go, ha, gotcha. What they're going to say is, hey, no problem. Make up that auto order you missed. We'll reinstate the volume, get you taken care of. They want you to win. They're on our side. They're incredible. So understand that. But my key here, know that you have a personal sales position on the left and right side of every business center you own. This is where you want to place those extra orders. Don't sweat the small stuff. If you have a 210-point auto order, okay. Don't have a 250-point auto order. Have a 201, 205, and then order your extra stuff when you need it to get your checkup, or when you need the volume in PSPs, and you'll make money off that. You'll probably get that product for half price because you spent $50 but earn 25. Does that make sense? Okay. If you don't understand this, make sure you work with somebody in your plan that does. Marshall.
Right now, to decrease your check or increase your volume or whatever, one of the things that my wife and I do is we make a goal that we need this much income this week, and we don't make that goal, we buy it. Because it's kind of a punishment. At the same time, we don't earn it, and we're gonna buy it. But last night, I didn't quite get to where I needed to be, and I need shampoo, conditioner, and all 3 bathrooms.
Me too.
3 shower mats, and I got my goal.
Awesome. So we're going to talk, that was awesome. And then we're going to talk about that. So there's nothing wrong with buying extra products. I don't want anybody to fill their garage full of products that you don't need. But I'm telling you, I have 2 kids and myself and my wife, and we can easily use 500 points of volume. If you are all taking Nutrimills or Fiber G, you're all drinking your Rev here and there, you're all taking nutritionals, we go through 4 boxes of probiotics in our house a month by ourselves. Each one of our family members takes a box of probiotic. That's like 80 points right there. Right? If you use the stuff, you use the toothpaste, you use the Sansei, you use all the products, you use the shower, you're out, you're hungry, you don't go through the drive-thru, you eat a bar. It's easy to do. It's a lot better. It's actually saving. Don't look at it like you spent this much money. Look at it like I spent it here instead of at the grocery store for something that was inferior. Does that make sense? Yeah. So be your best customer. There's nothing wrong with that. Thanks for sharing. Okay. All right. So again, on a 3 business center, you have a personal sales position on every leg as well. So you would never order volume in your PSP on your left and right of your 1 because you want to do it in your 2. We'll pay you in your 2 and go up to your 1, just like everything else we talked about. Your 3 will pay you here and go up to your 1 right. So when you have a 3 business center, you're on a 200-point auto order, all activity, sponsorship, PSP orders, everything goes in your 2 or 3. Again, if you're new and you don't understand that, you should be doing that order with somebody else who can help you walk through that. So you get it. All right, so here's a question for you. We've gone through this a few times. How do we calculate your weekly check?
The volume of your
20%
2,
of
3,
the
and 1.
Okay. Okay. How does USANA calculate it? They don't have drawing circles calculated. Reports. Give me kind of the math. Where's it come from?
Total volume of all your small size.
Total small side of all your business centers that are over 125, right? Finish it again.
Times by 20%.
Multiply times 20% equals your check. Correct. That's the answer. You all got that? Okay. So, boom. There it is. Exactly what we just talked about. Total small side of volume, all that are over 125, multiplied by 20%. What is the opposite of multiplication? Division. Again, I'm a proud Jaguar, West Jordan High School. Didn't spend a lot of time in math, but I figured this stuff out. Okay? It's division. So, question is, how do you calculate the amount of volume you need for your desired check? Marshall mentioned the fact that I had a weekly goal. So what he says, this is my goal, this is how much I want to earn. How he figures that out is you divide, the answer is to divide the amount of your desired check by 20%. So if Marshall wants to make $2,000, he has to take $2,000 divided by 20%. It'll tell him how much total small side volume he needs. Does that make sense? Okay. I do this. You should all be doing this at the beginning of the week. Figuring out where do you want to be. Don't be that person who goes through the motions and sees what USANA sends you in, check or direct deposit. Be the person who says, okay, here's where I'm at. Here's what I know I'm working on. Here's what's coming in. Here's what's going on in my business. Here's what I need to do. And now here's the check I want. And now I got to go back, fill it in with the volume, right? Figure it out. So we're going to talk about that. So let's say this is your business. Back to the one business center for a minute. You're starting off with 2,800 rollover on the right side of your business. Your check, your desired check is $400. That's what you want to earn. What you should do is take $400, divide that by 20%, not 20, 20%. It's going to give you 200 sales volume points. 2,000 sales volume points that you need total small side. If this is your business, what do you need to do? Work with Bob, sponsor on the left, sell on the left, make sure auto orders go through on the left, generate volume on the left. Volume comes from product movement. That's where it's all attached to products. Whether it's people signing up for the first time, whatever, wherever that volume's come, reordering, selling product, doing a healthy mixer, all these things, okay? So you need to generate 2,000 points over here. When you do that, you're going to make your $400, right? You with me? Okay. But it's planning it. It's doing it intentionally. When I used to be a district manager of 15 retail stores, I had store managers that they were responsible to hit a sales goal, daily goal, weekly goal, monthly goal, quarterly, annually deal. If I called up and even a cashier answered, said, hey, where are you at in your daily plan? And they didn't know, I can tell you right now that store probably wasn't going to hit their goal because they weren't focused on it. But if a cashier could tell me, oh yeah, we're our goal today is $4,800, retail, and we're at 3,400. We're well above where we should be for this time of day. We're doing great. Want a promotion? That's the person, that's the store that's focused. That's the store hitting their goals and plans because they have a plan and they're treating it like a business and they're being intentional about it, not accidental about it. Because that store will offer the customer more of what they need. When a customer comes in for a water pump, if you don't know a lot about changing a water pump, you may not know you're going to lose your antifreeze. You may not know you're going to need gasket sealer. You may not know you should probably replace your belts and hose at the same time. If you were doing that job, would you want somebody who was knowledgeable to tell you about that? So you didn't have to make 4 trips to the store? Whether you buy that stuff or not is not the important thing. The important thing is that a knowledgeable person told you what you were going to need. That's what we need to do for our customers and our associates and help them out, help them understand things, okay? So, get back on track here. All right, now you're starting at 0. You have no volume. You're brand new, or maybe you have Bob and Jill here and you wiped out all your rollover volume last week. Perfectly balanced. Congratulations. Probably more of a typo here than anything for that. But anyway, you're starting with nothing here. What do you need to do? The same thing, same math, but this tells me I need 2,000 left and right. So now I'm doing 4,000 total. And this is all with the one business center. It's gonna be half this again with the 3. You do that, you'll hit your check. But you gotta know what it takes. So when somebody tells me I wanna hit it, I wanna go achiever this week, I'm gonna say, how are you gonna do it? Where are you at? What do you need? And then you're gonna say, I need this much volume in this leg. Great. Where's that volume coming from? Right? It's a business plan. That's when it pays you like a business, when you're teaching it like a business that way. All right, 3 business center. Same deal here. I need 2,000 total sales volume points, small side in all my business centers. So there's a couple things. I'm starting at 0 like this, a brand new person. Let's say I'm a brand new associate. Maybe this was Jared and Katie last week where they enrolled their first person. And I would simply go like this. Okay, I need 2,000 total points. Well, I got 4 legs here, so I can take, just messing with some math here. I can take my 2,000, divide that by 4. I just need to put 500 points on the board in all 4 of my legs, and I'll make my goal. So I can go out and enroll 4 associates, go Premier Platinum Pay Center maybe, right? Done deal, right? If you have a new person who goes Premier Platinum next week, they enroll 4 people who do 500 points each, they're done. That was 2,000 points of volume winning that leg for you. Or if this was your situation, you're going to make $400 by doing that. Okay? You with me?
Yeah.
Okay. Hit your goal there. Okay. A lot different when you have this rollover volume. That's the magic of this rollover, and I'll show you how that impacts things in a minute here. Same deal. We want to make $400. We need 2,000 small side. This is our volume now. So I look at my 1 first, and what's the strong side? Right side strong. So I need to work on the left. Left is my 1's my 2. So I'm looking at this. I don't have any volume on left or right of my 2. So what do I do here? Well, so again, if I work here, I'm going to get paid once. If I work here, if I match it, if I balance it, I'm going to get paid once here and once here. So that's why I'm working there. But if I take this, the way I'm going to do my math is I'm going to say I'm going to take that same 2,000, but I'm going to divide it by 3. And here's why. If I do 667 on the left of my 2 and 667 on the right of my 2, that's going to roll up to 1334 on the left of my 1. When I do that, I'm going to have 1334 small side of my 1, 667 small side of my 2, 0 because I'm not focused over here on my 3. That totals 2,000 sales volume points. I just hit my check. So now maybe if this is my business, this is my goal, I might want to personally enroll 3 business center with 500 points over here. I might want to work with somebody over here who I know is on fire and working right now, help them enroll somebody. They sell some products. I help somebody's auto order go through that was, declining or whatever. Boom, I have a plan to get to that volume. Does that make sense? But you got to start that plan. Sunday night's a great time to look at your business. All your auto orders are processed or should have, unless they're pending, which we'll talk about. All your rollovers there, so you know exactly where you're starting. Plan your week, figure where you want to be. What's the deadline to make this happen on Friday? Anyone? Midnight Mountain Time, Friday night. That doesn't mean that 11:53 you're entering stuff in. I wouldn't get so close to that. Okay. What time? Let's say that's when you can enter stuff in online. What time can you call and tell? 9 p.m. You can phone call. USANA is open till 9 p.m. Monday through Friday on the phone. What time can you walk in here if you're in Utah on Friday? 8. So they're open till 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday, but 8 p.m. on Fridays because they know it's our last night of the week. Okay? So you can walk in till 8 and call till 9, stuff online till midnight. Give yourself a little bit of a buffer there. I will say this. Let's say you're going after Achiever this week. You're rocking and rolling. You're putting stuff in that close at 9 o'clock. At 10 o'clock, you're putting some in. All of a sudden, something happens. Did anything with technology ever go wrong?
No.
Yeah, it does. So let's say USANA site was down for some reason. You're trying to do it. It froze up or whatever. If I was you, take a screen capture, call your upline goal director above. You call Monday morning and show them, look, it was down. They're not going to say, gotcha. But they're going to say, it's no problem. What you have that you didn't make happen, they're going to put it in. They're going to fix it. You're going to be an achiever. They want you to win. But don't wait till, if it's important to you, don't wait till 9:01 to call in. Don't wait till 11:55 to start entering stuff online. Give yourself a little bit of time knowing things happen. Okay?
So I have one question.
Yeah.
So on the Business Center 2, where you're points are equal. So let's say that was 680 on the right.
Okay.
So
680 here.
680 here, 667 there.
Okay.
So they both gonna roll up or just one?
If new volume, let's say, because you just put this volume in. So all of it's going to roll up. They doesn't have to match here. Okay. So if it was 667 is this question and 680 here, they're both still rolling up to, that would be 13, 45 or whatever the math is. What's that?
New volume only?
New volume always rolls up. Rollover rolled up before, so you got credit for that. You already been paid on it. Okay. But in this case, your small side would still be 667. 667 here, 680 here. That's what you're getting paid on. Okay. Good question. You guys are getting it. All right. So I need your help. This can be, there's a lot of stuff here, right? It's some math and stuff. I'm pushing really hard for something on the IDC. I need more people pushing for it. Just because I'm on the IDC doesn't mean we get everything we want. Okay. If I had more gold directors and above saying we need this, I'd have a little bit more bite to my bark. Okay. So a gold director above can put an IDC submission in. If you're gold director above, please do this. If you're not, then get with your gold director above and say, I need this desperately. Can you imagine the widget I'm asking for on the system? The more important than any report they can possibly give us, in my opinion, is a report or a widget where I can put in, they already know my volume, right? If I could put in, I want to make $400 this week, why can't the system tell me, okay, looking at your current volume, you need to put this much in your 2 left and this much in your 2 right optimally. And now you could do something different, but I want to know the minimum and where to put it. So that's what I'm fighting for, because I believe that if everybody knew how to maximize, can you imagine 10,000 people knowing, just pushing their check, doubling, by 20% this week? Everybody, if you knew what it took to, if your goal was to make $100 every week, no matter what, and you're at $70, but you don't know how to get there. But if 1,000 or 10,000 people were doing that, the volume going through this company would be crazy. Volume going through your business would be crazy once you build it to a big team. We desperately need a tool. There's calculators that different people, I had one that somebody corporate developed that sent me, but it came with a disclaimer of make sure you call me so I can explain all this to you. If it's that complicated, I don't want it. I don't need that. There's other systems and good things in there that are helpful, but I really believe, and again, I'm not a computer programmer. I know I can look at something and say, it looks easy to me. And they could go, oh, you have no idea, right? If you're a computer person, you know what I'm talking about. I've had these discussions with programmers, and I'm like, what do you mean you can't do that? But it's a lot more difficult than those of us that want it think. But I'm telling you, we need desperately something, and I'm not going to fight till I get it. I'm not going to quit fighting till I get it, where we can do this, where we can put in, I want to make this much money, and it tells you where to put it. Now all I got to do is go find those volume points. I can go, okay, I need 600 points. I can find 600 points. I can sign up this person. I can sell this much product or do that. And I don't just mean for rank advancements. I mean to have a weekly goal in your business, to know what you want every single week. Would have a huge impact on your business, on your team. Then come talk to me afterwards. All right, so I'm not gonna let that stop me. In the meantime, I'm gonna show you how I do this. I'm gonna show you how I set goals. I'm gonna show you how I help my team set goals, because this is important. Everything's kind of leading up to this. When you log into the hub, go to My Business. How many people use the subscription, or whether it's because you bought a pack that came with it and you're on the business manager subscription, or you're paying the extra $20 a month for it? Okay, most of you, about 60-70%. Okay, so volume is going to be, I'm going to show you a couple things, but you're going to log into My Business. Right here, under business reports, you have 2 reports. Free volume report, everybody has access to. So you can do this still. I like the team manager is where I get it, and I'll show you why I use that so much more and why I think it's worth it. Now, if you don't have a team yet, don't do it. Some of you that work with me, I said, don't buy that till you need it. And then now you need it, turn it on kind of thing. But I pull the volume report. It's where I go. And you can change that to start with anybody's business center. So the free one, you can only look at your own business. The team manager one, the volume report, I can look at anybody's volume in my business. okay? So what I can do here, first off, is I can also change it at any week. I can look at current week, I can look at past weeks to see what happened or what you're trending towards or whatever, or what I need to do in my business. Here's the other thing, save. Every one of you that's in my business that we spend time together on the phone, when we're on the phone, I'm already talking to you about your business almost every time. As soon as you call me or I call you, I already have your business pulled up. Because I want to make sure if you're not seeing something, or if you want to talk about it, I'm ready. But more importantly, I want to make sure I can point out something you may not be seeing here. So I save these. And here's what it looks like. I have saved reports. And I just label them whatever I want them. I have them by last name. There's Tony. Last name, comma, first name. I name them whatever I want. The Zons are in there. Dr. Chapman, Ray Lynn, Paula Broussard, who made her biggest check last week. Paula, $300 last week. Excellent job, Paula. She's on the webinar right now this morning. So this is where I look at people's, I don't have to go in and type in your name or go put in your number at a time. Once I put something in I'm going to look at over and over, I save it and create it, and it always pulls up your current volume. So I encourage you to do that as well. Now, when you're pulling up your volume reports, I'm an old school kind of person. Having this on a computer is great. But here's what I do. I take this and I click on this export, and it gives me a couple options, and I go export to PDF. And when I export it, it gives me a printout just like this. And on Sunday night, you should all be doing this, where you're printing this up. And then I'm going to teach you how I help you make your goals or how I set my goals. But first, let's go through a couple things. Your business center, number 1, 2, and 3. This is your ID number, 1, 2, and 3. Personal volume, you should only see volume in this column once every 4 weeks, the one cycle that your auto order goes through. It should only be 200 or 205. It should never be 199 or 290, right? Okay, but it should never see personal volume in 2 and 3, never. If you place a reentry, if this was your business and you put your number 4 in this week, so when I place a reentry, or you place a reentry, you're activating another business center. You do another 200-point order to activate that. So if this week you were putting in your number 4, I'd see your 4 and 200 points right here. That's okay, that one time. Other than that, it should always be here between 200, slightly over, and only once every 4 weeks. That's it. Now you have left volume. This is my left this week, current week volume. This is right, so left and right for my 1, 2, and 3. This is my rollover, left over from last week. My total volume is my new volume plus my rollover equals total. I like to look at these. I always want to know what my auto order, also by the way, this will tell you what's on auto order. What of that new volume came from auto order versus just somebody putting a manual order in, okay? But the big thing you really want to know is this total volume. This total column is where you're focused at here. And this is going to tell you your estimated commission volume points for your 1, 2, and 3 and your total there. Now, you can actually, and I'll show you how in a minute, but you can change when you make any report. If there's a column missing here, you can add columns for things that are important to you. You can get rid of columns if they're not important to you. You can move it. I like to personally look at my volume where I start with auto order, I look at new volume, I look at rollover, I see total, and I see my check, because my mind works that way. I want to see what's new, with my auto order, because that's a big focus for me, and it's just adding up in my head that way. But you can move it around any way you want. Once you move the column and you save it, it'll save that way forever. Don't get into management mode where you're spending all your time in here creating reports you don't need. Get in, manage your business, figure it out, put together a game plan, turn off the computer and go to work. Okay? It's key. So here's what I do. I print this thing out. I did this from my first week in this business, and I did it until I couldn't fit them all on the sheet anymore. On the backside, I had reentries, and now I can look at it just differently and see how things go. I've got a different little program I use. But for a 3 business center, this is perfect. Up to even 7 you can put on the back of the sheet here. So I draw this out. I'm a visual person. I want to see that 2 going to my 1. I want to see that 3 going to my 1 right. So I draw this out. Just hand scribble, boom, boom, little T's like this. I'm going to look at my total volume. I'm going to plug those numbers in. I'm just going to draw it out just like this. And that's exactly what I have left and right of my 1, left and right of my 2, left and right of my 3. And then I'm going to go, okay, Look at this business with me for a second. Look at your 1. Where are you working? Right side is your focus. That's my 2. So now I look here. Where am I working? Right side. Okay. This was Paula enrolled 2 associates. This is her business. I hope she's okay with me sharing that. Everybody else had blocked their stuff out, but I want to kind of give Paula a little shout out. This was her business after she enrolled 2 associates earlier this week with 400 points each. Okay. 2 new people. And then she goes, you know what? I think I can push that up to $300. And she had a new customer come on board. She put some volume in here, went here to here. And by last night, we were on the phone, it was $300.10 for the check. So she had a plan. She had a business plan. She knew where to work. And that makes a huge difference in your business, all the difference in the world. Now, here's the deal. If you raise your check 25% today, is that a big deal this week? It's great. But if you understand the compound effect of raising your check 25% every week, and then you understand the residual and leverage that comes with the people that joined your business or got on auto order this week in your business, for the long-term effect, I'm going to show you some math that's going to boggle your mind in a little bit. Because it boggled mine. I did it yesterday. All right. Okay, so this is the deal. We know where we're focused here. So if her goal was to make $400, let's just throw it out there. I was just using her as a math example before I knew what she was doing yesterday. But it was funny. She called me and said, Paula, I've just got your example up on the, I'm doing this deal right now. So 400 divided by 20% equals $200, or 2,000 sales volume points you need. 2,000, here's how I would do it. A couple ways to do the math. But I would add these 2 together. I would subtract those from the 2,000 I needed because it's already there. It gives me 856 that I need additional. Now, because I know I'm working in the leg, if I was building here, it's going to be 856. If I was building here, it's going to be 856. It's going to be here, it doesn't matter. But because I know I'm working here, and I can see that if I do half that, it's going to be, I got enough to cover it both sides. I can actually take that 856, divide it by 2, and my magic number is I need 428 here, and it's going to pay me twice. And that's how I'm going to hit my goal. Does that make sense? It's just doing the math and figuring out, going, okay, my goal is $400. Here's my situation. I need this much. Can I do 428? Does my schedule and what I'm doing, my goals and all that come into that? If so, where's it coming from? Right? How can you do 428? Throw a few things out. Where can I get 428? 3 business center all day long. Yep.
2 people get ready to reset.
Some resets. Maybe 2 1 business centers. What else? Sorry? Sansei packs, retailing.
4 friends needing the health pack.
4 friends needing the health pack. 2 auto orders that didn't process, maybe.
Yeah.
All kinds of stuff, okay? So it's important to know that. All right, let's talk about earning weekly checks. Yeah.
You mentioned on there that you can add columns, subtract columns, and you can save those reports. I don't even use the computer anymore. I use it on my phone on the Hub app. Last night I was checking some auto orders, and I looked for, I have a saved report that says all auto orders, and I have them by cycle. So I know that this coming weekend is cycle 4. So I look on Friday night to see if there's anyone that I need to send a last minute text message to remind them about the upcoming auto order. So, I mean, if you're not using the app on your phone, you got to get into that. You got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Save your reports on the computer and then use it on your phone. These are some most amazing
Tools
to build your business. And if you're not utilizing that, you think you have to pay $20 a month.
So I'll repeat real quick for those online. What Marshall's saying is, so you can set it up online, save the reports you need, and then use it on the app on the phone. And it's mobile. It's awesome on the phone. Yeah, everything that you save on there, all the save reports, they're right on your phone. You can look at them, scroll around. They're great. And some reports you might want to save specifically for doing that. Okay, so I'll tell you where this weekly check thing came up. There's a lot of great goals and things anybody can do, but I'll tell you, this wasn't even my deal. I think anybody can earn a weekly check, but I saw Brad and Rachel Homer own this thing, and they just decided, they did it. I didn't say, hey, you guys should earn a weekly check. They earned a couple checks, and they said, you know what, we're going to keep this going. I know for us, we went to work, and once we earned a check, we kept going. And I'm like, why doesn't everybody do that kind of thing? But they did that on their own. And then all of a sudden it was like, hey, it's 5 weekly checks, and 6. And they got to a point where they realized there's no turning back. That they were going to make it happen. And then I saw them do it, and I saw, again, 70 weeks now. And then I saw that their duplication, absolutely. And now in their business, the Bazans are doing the same thing. And now Trevor, the stuff they're duplicating, because when you set that tone, set that tone, and the leader will set that tone, and the pack will follow. Okay? So think of what you want to duplicate. But anybody can do what it takes to generate 125 sales volume points. For most people, would earn them a check just about every week. Some weeks it may have to be a little bit more than that, but it's very attainable for anybody from just about week 1, if they want it. It's all on your goals and what you're willing to do. Okay, so let's look at this. Is what kind of inspired this is, again, I can look at thousands of people's business, and I can just click on anybody's business and go, okay. And I'm not picking on anybody. I'm not putting names or anything up here. But I look at this and I go, all right, they're not at a check. How close are they to a check? I mean, let's look at that. What do they got to do to earn a check here, folks? Anybody yell it out? What? 115. Where?
125 on 2 right. 125, 2 right.
So there's actually a couple of correct answers. You can do 115 on 3 left and earn a check here, and it will then come up here for the future. And that's a great thing. If you have somebody here, go for it, kind of thing. If this was my business, I always look at my 1 first. There's at least 125 on this side. There's not on this side. I look over at my 2. I look at this and I go, wow, if I put in, what is that? 96, 90, 94, 96, 96. Yeah, I started math. If I put in 96 right here, I'd put it here personally. I'm going to make my check, and I'm set up beautifully for next week to just do another 29 over here to get a check on my 2. And as I do that next week, it's coming up here and queuing me up. So when I come over here, the week after that, it's going to pay me here and tee it up for this. Can you see where I'm just moving around? And I'm doing that with, I can sell product, again, smaller orders. If you're putting in an associate and you're wanting to think about where they're going to be long-term and stuff, then you may not be jumping all over. But if this is my business, I'm jumping around for a while. I got to get some things going here. Okay? So I can just do this with report after report after report and see how close people are to their business. Where are you working here, folks? 2 left. You're getting it. I love how quick that was. How much volume you put in. If your goal is to earn a check, that's my goal right now. I need 25 minimum points on the left of my 2, and I'm going to earn a check. And as I do that, it's going to tee this up with another 25, put me at 79. That's Jordan math, pretty quick there. 79 for the following week to earn a check off my 1. Weekly checks. There's a lot of power in saying I've earned 70 checks in a row. I've earned 15 checks in a row. I've earned 3 checks in a row. That's something that's really facts tell, stories sell. Create your story. Get weekly checks. Have the weekly checks grown, Brad and Rachel, as you started off just making sure you make 25 bucks? Is it a little different nowadays when you start off on Monday morning at a 200-point check with it, and it varies. What's funny is because they've got this real strong week now, because every time that strong week comes, it's easy to push to go. That's when they hit achiever. Then they push it, and that's when they hit director. Then they push, and that's when they just recently hit bronze. So that week, then the auto orders are always piling up on that same week. So they get this really heavy week, and then they're working on solidifying things. Okay, but that's great. Okay. All right. So you got it. You're on the right track here. Let's go to another one. Where am I working? Yell it out. 3 left. 3 left is where I'm working. Can you see how close people are to earn a check, but they may or may not be going after it?
Yeah.
Help your people know. If I had a conversation with somebody, say, hey, do you realize if we put 9 points anywhere in your 3, specifically let's go for your 3 left, do you realize you'd earn a check this week? Are you kidding me? You mean if I sell, one little product, I can earn a check?
Yeah.
That's what they need to know. Will they go sell that product if they know that?
Shower gel.
A shower gel. You pick it. Pick anything that's 9 points. Yeah. And let me tell you this. So if they go and sell a shower gel, what's more important than the fact it's great there to check? It's great that they, everything's great, but what's really important here?
You are presenting your product.
You got it. For him to sell that product, he went out and did the activities that builds his business. It's not about the $25. It's about him doing the activities that's going to get him out of the job he hates. Does that make sense?
It leads to bigger, better things.
It's that success breeds success. You got it. And you got products to somebody that might be a lifelong customer. Talk about how that impacts your business. All right, we're going to crank along here. Where are we working here, folks? Two right? Yep, that's not a huge deal either way. I'd probably work here, but it's not a big deal because it's so close. And either way, you're going to get one of those. You want to focus on getting one of those 25. Sometimes there's not a cut and dry answer. Sometimes you can look at it and go, yeah, either way works. Or another thing is this might be your family leg, a leg where you have a bunch of family members and you sponsor Uncle Joe and you want to keep the family together. And for this week, it's not best for your check, but it might be best for your business long term. You make that decision. My job is to help you understand how it impacts your business. If you're working with me, you make that decision that's right for you. Okay? So there's this long-term thing sometimes too that we do that don't always maximize our check this week, but they maximize our business long-term and minimize issues that we might see that we're creating. Last thing you want is two family members fighting different legs, fighting over another family member and badgering him to death, and now they don't know where to go and they're divided versus together. So there are some ramifications that can come up. They may never, but that's something you want to think about. All right, we're going to jump up a little bit more here. Now we want to earn a $100 check. So it's a little different. We've got to do a little bit of math. If this was the scenario, first off, let's identify where we're working. Yell it out. Two right. Two right's our magic leg here this week. Again, we can do some stuff other places. That's where we want to focus. Where it's going to pay us twice. So I'm going to take my goal. I want to make $100. I'm going to divide that by 20%. I need 500 total small side volume. I'm going to take what I'm already being paid on, boom, boom, these two, subtract the total of those two away from my goal. I need 171. And because I'm being paid on it twice, my magic number is 86 points is what I need to generate here to get to my goal. Does that make sense? I'm drilling you. I hope the repetition's working. This is important. Okay? Compound effect of it. Now you're working yourself through the ranks. Boom. Maybe, you just became a new believer. Yeah, awesome. Great job. Okay? $200 check. It's the same kind of thing we're working. Where are we working here? Yell it out. Two right. Okay, good. That's what I want you to see. So again, when I look at just this, it's harder for me to see. When I do this, because my eye tells me it's going here and going here, that works for me. If it doesn't help you, you don't have to do it. This is how I got it, okay? So we need to fly here. Same math. Same way we did it before. Because it's paying me twice. Again, if it's paying me once, I need the full 555. It's paying me twice. That's the joy of that rollover volume. That's a reason to be on a 200-point auto order. Rolling up here now to a builder. Same thing for achiever. You can do it at any level. It's the same exact formula we're talking about. You see, no matter what your goals are, how this works with me. Now you're achiever. Now here's a crazy one. I think most people who looked at this and said, okay, my check is $320 right now. And if I said, hey, you can go silver director this week, pretty easy. Would most people think they could do that and make $1,000? Most people would say no. But you can look at, any business and see how this works. It's a lofty goal. I need 3,397, but it's going to pay me twice. I can come up with 1,700 points of volume. In my two right, let's say that I had one person in here that wants to go Premier Platinum this next week. And they bring in 4 associates with 400 points, 1,600 points. Yeah, I'd come up with the other 99. You understand what I'm saying? So there's a lot of ways it comes from. I can sponsor 4 people any week I want to in this business. I sponsored 13 people my best week. I've sponsored a long time where I haven't sponsored anybody. But when I have a full funnel of a lot of people and now somebody's looking and I'm working one leg and I say, hey, look, I talked to you, yesterday. I guess somebody's coming on board today. They're picking up their stuff tonight. Before I put them in, do you want me to put you in so you can start off with somebody, a really sharp couple in your business? They might do that. I call somebody else. And that's how 13 people came on board. It started with one set of retail of essentials one week. Because of that leverage, calling people back that you've already talked to, that were on the fence, giving them a reason to act. Okay, because the person who you're meeting doesn't want to meet till later tonight to go through their stuff if you're local, or tomorrow, or they tell you, here's my application, but process it on Friday when I get paid, or whatever. I don't hold applications, but there's a lot of times that there's a little bit of lag time. I can go back and follow up with people. If I have a full funnel, that's where the magic happens. So fill your funnel. So you can see doing this, it's very doable. Silver Director, you just got to know how things are working. All right, so how do you find sales volume points? Yell them out. Every way where you can find sales volume points to go towards your weekly goals. Prospect. Give me specifically what activity, not just the prospecting, the result. On prospect, I'm going to sign up a preferred customer. I'm going to sign up a associate. I'm going to, what else? Retail sales.
Recommend stuff for the gym while you're working out.
More retail sales. What else? Auto orders. Extra orders, you need personal sales positions.
Be your best customer.
Be your best customer. Other stuff you need. The reset challenge. More retailing. Yep. Buying products for a specific incentive or a function or something you're doing. A healthy mixer, right? There's a lot of ways. Okay. Personally enrolling associates. So there's personally what you're doing. There's working with your team and having that leverage doing those same activities. There's retailing the things we've talked about. There's extra stuff you need. There's product samples. There's maybe gifts. Oh, look, I got a little thingy. Upgrading, that's a big one people miss. Somebody starts with one business center, they can upgrade to a 3 business center within 6 Fridays. So if they joined yesterday was their first Friday. They joined Thursday, it was their first Friday. So 5 more Fridays, okay? It's not 5 weeks or 6 weeks, 6 Fridays. That they can do the difference between what they did from a 1 business center. Let's say they order 250, they need 400 minimum. They do a 150-point order sometime in that time frame. They've upgraded to a 3 business center. If you have somebody who joins the 1 business center, make sure you are writing that down in your calendar. Count down how many weeks. Make sure they know what they have to do. That's volume, right? Don't leave it on the table. Help them maximize their income. Even if they're not going to run with the business right now, there's a value in the someday. There's value in the fact that they might do this down the road, so they might want to lock in with a 3 business center now. Keep one active if that's what you want to do, and know that if you ever want to do it, it's there. You got them all. It's not a huge difference. So where were we? Okay, auto orders in your business. We're going to talk a lot about that right now. So auto orders and fixing unprocessed auto orders. Volume comes from a lot of places, folks. I just whipped this out last night in a few minutes. Well, not really, but I just came kind of through that list together. So as you're doing this, working towards rank advancements, it's important that you understand a few things. All the way up through Silver Director is a one-time deal. 1 week to get that you have 1 week's worth of results, whether it's a share all the way through Silver Director to get that. Gold Director and above requires that at 4 consecutive weeks. So if you look at this, this is it's in your BDS, it's online, it's on the hub, it's everywhere. But this is what it takes to get to these different ranks all the way through. But it's important if you have goals to know what you're going to do to get there. And then again, Gold Director and above is 4 consecutive weeks at that income to obtain that. Okay? So know how that works so that you know when you set your goals what it's going to take to get there. All right, auto order. Sometimes a question comes up. Used to come up a lot more. Now, not so much. 100 versus 200 points. What do I do? Bottom line is do whatever's right for you. Okay? So I'm going to kind of tell you a little bit about the pros and cons to different things. You're not helping, Bradley. But my buddy was just leaving and making smiley faces. But anyway, Brad, I'm going to get you back. 100 versus 200. Here's the big difference. So we've talked a lot. Everything we've shown you right now is basically a 200-point auto order and the benefits of it. So let's talk about some of those benefits. You make more money. You make double the income. You get paid on multiple centers. The rank advance faster because it comes from all your income comes from multiple business centers, so you rank advance faster. You get that auto order discount, that 10% discount you get is only on your auto order. So you save more money on the products you're going to be using anyway. And when you duplicate the above, that's your bread and butter. That's your long-term residual income. So I'll show you an example. This is the same volume report we've been looking at, but this is somebody who does a 100-point auto order. you see how different it looks? They don't have any rollover volume from the work they've done in the past in their 2 and 3. And that's okay. I'm not, if that's where your goals are at, your product needs, your budget, if that's what's right for you, perfectly fine. If somebody makes that informed decision, I'm great with it. I want to make sure they're making an informed decision and they understand that. Because now when they go to work, they're not making money on their 2. If they put volume in here, it's going right through the 3 and only paying them on their 1. Okay? So again, it may be what they want to do, but my job is to look at this and go, hey, just want to make sure you know what you're doing. It's a training issue. If they understand it, it's fine. So everybody get that? Okay. So if you've seen my presentations, you've heard me talk about residual income. I want to spend just a minute on this real quick. Why? Shout it out. What does residual income give you? What are the reasons you would build a business to get a residual income? I love it. Bring it. Choices. Fire the boss. Freedom. What else? Time with the family. Early retirement, baby. Right? Okay. Residual income. Powerful. Powerful. Okay. Now, how do we get residual income in USANA? What's the key?
Reorders. Customers reorder.
Customer reorder. So skills, consistency, they're all great. To me, those mainly go through, maybe those are skills how you physically do it, but a lot of that is how you're going to get the leverage. What I want to focus on right now is the power of auto orders. Okay? You only have residual income if you have people who are continuing to reorder. That's residual income in my definition. Leverage is people working in your business. That's great. I want leverage too. We're both very, very powerful. Leverage gives you full-time income on a part-time basis or more efforts than what you're doing on your own. Residual income is what pays you over and over for the work you've already done. Big difference. Both powerful. Huge fan of both. Love them. Okay? But the key here is auto order. You do the work. You sell somebody on the product. They love the product. You sell it one time, you don't get them an auto order. Let me ask you, do they have lifelong changes when they use the product once? Do you have residual income when they use the product once? Is it good for them? Is it good for you? You have to go sell them again on it, right? We have a system for that. So what are the benefits of auto order? Yell them out. 10% discount. What else? Convenience. What else? Residual when you duplicate it. What else?
Long-term benefits.
Sorry? Long-term benefits, health benefits on the products. And for you on the business. What else? Anything? All right, 10% discount. They don't run out of the products, right? That's important, especially if they're long. They don't live in Utah. We can swing in and pick them up. Oh, credit them out. Now I'm waiting a week, kind of thing. Better health for the long-term use, like Justin talked about. Convenient, flexible, right? They're not locked in. A lot of things they can do here. Backbone to your residual income. As a business person, you need to be looking at your auto orders. If you're building this for residual income, look at your auto orders. Make it a focus. Okay? So there's a couple ways to do this. One, first, make sure you always get people on auto order when you enroll them. If they're not comfortable with that right away and they want to try the products, that's okay. Put it in your calendar. Make sure you know and you go follow up, have another exposure, and talk to them about the auto order. Because I can save you 10% if you love the products anyway, right? What's in it for them? Save you 10%. An analogy. I'm going to understand that, okay? So there's a couple reports. They're both okay, especially when your business is a little bit small. I'm going to lean towards one, and I'm going to tell you why. I've done a lot of research this week to find out, one, why we even have to, and what's the difference of them. But there's some things here. So first off, again, this is only when you have that paid system, you're subscribing to it, auto order, unprocessed auto order report. If you look at that, what do you see here? I have 5,962 unprocessed auto orders last week. Can I handle all those on my own? Now, I don't have to because I have a lot of other leaders that they know how to do this and they do it. I focus on specific parts of my business for my goals. My leaders are trained and are doing it with their team. These people are being serviced by somebody. I'm not doing them all, okay? But here's the thing I want you to know. Don't feel bad for me because I have 6,000 unprocessed auto orders. Because we have, as of last night when I pulled this up, 150,600 75 associates and almost 96,000 preferred customers in our business. So that's not statistically, that's not a terrible number, but that's only from 1 week. Multiply that by 4 too. They need some help, okay? So when you look at the unprocessed auto order report, I have to start with an ID number. I can include PCs and associates, all good. I can save it. There's something missing here. No, that's not even the problem because all I'm looking at is the current week. I don't, if it happened last week, it's kind of too late anyway. If it's going to happen next week, I don't know yet. I'm only looking right now. I'll deal with next week. And I should have dealt with last week. Okay? So what's missing here is I can't select what side of my business. So when you have a smaller business, you're looking at everything, and you should be. Okay? As your business grows, and let's say you're one left and 2 left, take off like crazy, and you got a couple gold directors in there, and they're managing their business. Are you having to call their PCs? No. But on the right, you need to focus. So there's a problem there. So anyway, what I did was I got on the tree report, and I found who was top of my 5 right, because that's where I was focused. My 5 left has like 5 diamond directors in it. Okay? My 5 right, I have a couple gold directors. That's kind of also where I'm a little focused. I'm not building there. I'm maintaining and supporting. I'm building in another leg. It's where I'm sponsoring. But these auto orders have an impact on my business. So I pull this report up every week. So I grab the ID number of the person at the top of that. I can pull the report, and it pulls a pretty good report. I block some stuff out here. We'll talk about some of these numbers in a minute. One thing I want you to notice here is there's 13 records, 13 people that process just in that leg. That's where I'm mainly focused on that for this sake here. The gap report, which that was my thing, is what's a gap report? Okay, they explained to me, yeah, I like the gap report. And then I started digging into it. I dig the gap report. I think we need to get rid of the unprocessed auto order report, change the gap report to a name people know what the heck it is, and go with the gap report. And I'll show you why. Okay, now you look at this and you go, well, that's less though. Well, the problem is one, I pulled this up later in the week, and number 2, that's only one side of my business, one leg, okay, where the other one's pulling up the whole business. So gap report real quick. What I love about it, again, I can start with my business center or anybody's. When I start there, I can select PCs and associates. Now I can select which side. So, and I can save it. So what I'm doing is I pull up a gap report for my 5 right, which is what I needed the information on. If you have a larger business, Terry and Ray Lynn and Marshall. And now I pull this up, and you notice there's 16 records there. It pulls up a little bit more information for some reason. Or I also noticed that one lady had 2 auto orders on the same cycle. I thought it was a mistake. We contacted her. She had one going to her, one going to her mom. She was paying for them. And she wanted them separate, but the one combined them, and I wouldn't have caught that it was 2 separate transactions. So there's some things that I like about this report much better than the unprocessed auto order. So get familiar with the gap report. If you have a smaller business, just put your number 1. You don't have to select left or right. I think there's also you can do all or look at both if you want. Smaller business, unprocessed auto order is still fine. Don't let me get you off track. Look at them somewhere. It's the bottom line. So what I want to show you here is there's 1,183 points of volume right here that people who already love the products, who already been sold on the products, that have an auto order that's not processed. Give me some reasons why an auto order wouldn't go through. Expired card is the number 1 deal. Doesn't mean they want to be off the products. Their card expired, and they have it on file at 15,000 places, and they haven't contacted USANA, or maybe they changed their phone number. USANA can't contact them. That happened to me this week. Somebody had a wrong phone number on file. Marshall, what else?
I was going to say, if I have them on the phone right there because of an expired card, I would say, can I relay you in?
Yep, we're going to cover that.
So the service can take care of it right now.
Yep.
A lot of times we just get distracted.
We're gonna cover that. That's good. Good tip. So, but my point is, what are the reasons would a card expire? Or a card not go through? Could be not enough funds. It could be that I've had a lot of times these days people had fraudulent activity on their card somewhere, and it's the bank shut it down, and they want it to go through, and I got to get that fixed for USANA. They get another card. There's a lot of reasons it can happen. Most of the time, people want to get their products. If they don't, they won't fix it. But they don't have that chance if we don't reach out to them, okay? So there's a lot of volume there that you can find. We already talked earlier about getting your checks up or earning checks every week. Don't leave money on the table, folks. And make sure you're training your people to do the same thing as your business grows. Okay, there's other things I'm looking at here. I'm looking at their last purchase, knowing that the person who ordered most recently is more likely to order because they just barely ran out versus somebody who maybe has been off the product for 6 months, card declined, and maybe they need a phone call and they say, yeah, I've been feeling like crap since I got off the product. So reach out to all of them. Some of them are older, but I know if I'm leaning towards needing a few points, I'm looking at this number first from last month versus maybe the one from 2014 in December. Okay? That's a year old. That doesn't really matter a whole lot there. I will sometimes know, what market are they in for my business. Also, this person's in a $70 check. If they don't do their auto order, they're going to lose their check. I'm going to let them know that. Hey, you got a check coming, but you're going to not get it if you don't get your auto order squared away. They're going to lose their volume that's in the bank. So let them know that so they know what's in it for them. Okay, does that make sense? Those are all important things. So, to Marshall's point, how do you handle an unprocessed auto order? First off, I like to work through their sponsor. If I'm looking at, generations down, I think they're going to feel more comfortable hearing Cal reach out to one of his guys yesterday. He's going to feel more comfortable hearing from Cal than he is from me. So I'm going to give Cal's got that connection. The other thing I'm going to do is give him a few days to sort it out. Chances are USANA contacted them and they're fixing the problem. Not USANA's problem, but they had a card that declined for whatever reason, and they're fixing that with USANA to get it all sorted out. So I don't freak out on Monday. I start to look at it on about Tuesdays when I'm like, okay, I need to start reaching out to people. Thursday, I'm a little more concerned. Friday, I'm freaking out. Okay? Kind of thing. Because I don't want to, not everybody wants to be contacted when their card declined. Give them a chance to sort it out. I'm moving money around. Contact them directly as a customer service call. So reaching out to somebody, letting them know that, hey, I noticed that your order didn't process this week. There must have been something going on with that. Is that something I can help you get fixed? Maybe they need to change cards. Maybe they need expiration date, whatever. And then, all right, so what do you say to them? Okay, I just kind of gave you an example. I just call people and let them know I'm just reaching out to you to let you know this is what happened, see if I can help you out with that. Did you want to get that fixed? Letting them know maybe if they're going to miss out on a check or they're going to lose out on volume or whatever. So I'm going to just call and talk to them. I'm not going to say, hey, man, your card declined. You broke? Right? As a customer service professional, reach out, right? You're a USANA representative. Represent USANA. Tell them, hey, yeah, I'm a local USANA associate, and I just noticed that your order didn't go through. Just wanted to see if I could help you get something squared away so we can get you back on the products you love. Yeah.
Customer service background, if they're not into the business, they're not building a business, they are going to have no clue this isn't absolutely normal anyway.
Correct. They're going to get that kind of call with anybody they're doing business with on a regular basis that they have this problem with. They're likely getting contact from USANA, but they're more likely to listen to you, or you know how to get a hold of them sometimes better than their outdated information that gave USANA a year ago. Okay? So, and then to Marshall's point right here, 3-way call directly to USANA if possible. You're on the phone with somebody and they say, yeah, I need to get that fixed. I'm not going to say, well, call USANA. Hang on 1 second, I'll help you out. 3-way over, 801-954-7200. And unless you're gold director above, you can talk to a supervisor, different phone number. So get the gold director, there's perks. But you call over and say, yeah, I've got my customer on the line here with us. This is Joe. His ID number is this and this. He had something going on with his auto order. Can you see if you can help him get it sorted out? Sure, his expiration date's just out. Do you have your card handy? And they'll take care of it. That's the best way to do it right there. Okay, 3-way over. That's what I do. Marshall does. Works. Make sure that USANA reruns the unprocessed auto order. Cal helped me out last night. Cal, I owe you a rev and more. Dinner in my house tonight too, buddy. So Cal is he drives truck, and he happened to be coming through Utah while he was making it to make it to the train today. And so we've been talking, and I was looking at some things in the business that I'll share with you in a second. And I needed Cal's help. He helped me out. But when they do that, when you call USANA, the customer service agent doesn't always know to process that auto order. So when Cal called his customer fixed it. Customer called USANA and said, yeah, I will, yeah, it's all taken care of. It'll process on the next cycle. Well, it's unprocessed this week. So they were going to put it through as an order next week. He wasn't going to get the 10% discount. And if they put it as an auto order, moved it to next week, it was going to change the cycle. We both wanted it to go through this week. This customer wanted the products right away. So you have to be specific and say, yeah, they have a pending auto order showing up on my report, didn't process earlier this week. I need to have you rerun that now that we fixed that payment. They'll run it, even though the auto order processed on Sunday, it's supposed to process Sunday, it didn't go through. As long as it processes by Friday, it's still an auto order. It still gets you credit for everything you want, still gives them the discount. And there's going to be an important thing as you work your way up the compensation plan. I'll show you how that works. I want to share this crazy math with you real quick. So I'm working with a lady in my business, and she says, you know what? I said, how are things going? And she says, I feel like I'm out there working my tail off. I mean, I went out and I sold 2 health packs to somebody. They like the products, but I mean, I spent all of this time with them. And I mean, it seemed like I was like 2 hours and I was doing this and this and that. And yeah, it increased my check like $80, but I mean, it's like $40 an hour. I mean, you know, is that worth it? So she's kind of thinking, is that worth it kind of thing? And I'm saying, you're not doing residual income math, girl. Your traditional math doesn't work here, okay? Because a 200-point auto order is going to pay you $80 this week in a 2 times leg, right? Like we talked about. But more importantly, it's 13 cycles in a year in USANA. So that's going to pays you $80. Take that times 13 is $1,040 this year it's going to pay you. But wait a minute, I've been doing this 20 years. I have customers that still order every month that I introduced 20 years ago. What does that equal? Is that worth $2,080? No, do your math, girl. You just made $1,400 or $10,400 an hour. It's different math than residual. But you got to get them on auto order. Okay, they're not going to fall in love with the products. They take it once. They'll fall in love with it, make a lifestyle change. You got to understand this, folks. The long-term benefits of the residuals. Does that make sense? It's huge, huge. You're not talking, and there's not the leverage here. What if they were an associate and they enrolled? Imagine if that associate was Brian and Monica Penrod. I can. Okay. Daniel Page Hunter. I can. I've got associates like that have just built dynasties that it's huge. I'm talking about just their personal volume as a customer, not doing any of the products. We're not talking any leverage or anything yet. It's a different world, folks. You can't look at what you're doing today. How much did I make my first year in USANA? I don't know. I'm still being paid on what I did my first year in USANA. Okay? It's different. All right. I told you real quick, I'm going to talk to you about how to move things around. Column. Click on column. I can select by adding whatever columns. All columns that are already in there are over here. When I select them, I move them over here. When I delete them, they go over there. When they're over here, I can move them up or down, left or right, where they want. Okay? That's all in the column. When you save it, it saves it that way. So make the report the way you like it. Okay? Put the information you need on there. Don't micromanage your business. Set it up. Look at that when you need it and go to work. Okay? All right. I want to touch this real quick. A lot of people don't understand. When you have a business center, if you have a business center that's 5,000 left and 5,000 right, how much do you make? $1,000. If you have a business center that's 5,000 left and 5,000 right with auto orders, you make $1,250. Okay? 25% increase. So as you're building your business today and you're getting auto orders in your business, down the road, it's going to make this big jump from 1,000 to 1,250 for you. Okay? Auto orders are critical. You creating that culture in your business is critical for everything we've already talked about. So $1,250 payout, 25% raise, that's what it looks like. Beautiful thing. I'll give you an example. Person in our business, right here. If you look here, the business centers that did 5,000 left and right in auto orders paid $1,250. It's a little small, you may not be able to see it. The business center that maxed out the end of the week and did 5,000 total from additional orders in addition to auto orders, still paid him $1,000, but it didn't pay $1,250. That's another $750 they make this week because they have 3 business centers that do that. Multiply that by 13, by do all the math on that. By 52 for your annual income. Okay, that's a huge, huge difference. Auto orders are critical. So here's the deal. Last night, this happened to me twice, like in the last year. I have my number 5 business center that it usually Monday morning auto orders max, boom. I had some that were unprocessed. That was the report I pulled up and showed you. And it was at 4,968. So getting that extra 32 in increased my check $250. But it has to be an auto order. So I can't just put an auto order in. It's got to be how it works. It's an auto order that tried to process on Sunday with USANA. And as long as it still goes through as that auto order, so he calls, guy goes, yep, it's all set, everything, but he's going to process later. I'm like, no. Hey, we need to process that the auto order that was supposed to go. Okay, boom. 51-point auto order. That's all it was. He did it. Cal, I owe you one. You know? So working together as a team. But I pour into Cal. When I needed something from Cal, Cal was like, no problem. I'm there for you. I'll figure it out. I'll make it happen. Consider it done. I'm like, I love you, man. Thank you. Thank you. So give. And when you need it, there'll be withdrawals. Anyway, I want you to just understand how that works. So we're pretty much done. I want to show you one last slide. This is what I was talking to you about, Jared. This is that what I call big picture. This was an aha moment for me. About a year into the business, I was just messing around with numbers, figuring out what does it really take, and something that you need to understand. A lot of people think that you need hundreds of gold directors in your business and ruby and emerald and diamond in your business to have this big business that pays you a huge income. That's good for solid income. You want that. But you don't need a solid income while you're still making a big income. Get it big and grow it. It'll be solid. So it's both. But I want you to understand really how attainable this is. For you to make $250,000 or more in your USANA business every year does not require you even having a gold director in your business. Let me show you what it takes. You sponsor somebody and they don't do squat with the business. And you sponsor somebody else and they go through a life change, got a divorce or something, lost track. You sponsor somebody else and they move to Alaska to try to get on Deadliest Catch or something. Disappeared. That's a true story for me, by the way. I did. And then boom, you find your leader. Maybe it's even a sparrow, nose, and eagle. Maybe it was that person that they, in this case, it was the person that they introduced me to before he took off to go on the crab boats. And all of a sudden, this person goes out and builds a business. And they build the left and right side of their business. We're just looking at one here. We're not talking about it. We're going to make double the income and everything. But if you had somebody who's doing 2,500 left and right, and they're achiever, director level, consistently, right? You with me? Okay. That's doing 5,000 a week for you, right? You do the same thing over here. You find somebody right away, frontline person, understands the value. They go take off. Do the same thing. Find your leader. You find somebody else. Nothing. Is there anybody out there? Where are they at? Boom. You find your leader. You stick with it. You turn over enough rocks. You find somebody. Turn over enough cards. Get rid of the jokers. You find your ace. They're out there. Do the same thing. Same thing happens here. Boom. 5,000. Over here. Same thing. You keep going until you find somebody. If you're sponsoring and you put them wherever you want them and you're pouring into your people and you go until you find an ace in each one of your four legs, and I don't mean somebody who's gold, ruby, emerald, or diamond yet. They're on their way there, but they're a director today. And they're solid and they're building and it's growing, kind of what we've been talking about with some of the people in the room here. This is the kind of income, this is the kind of volume that generates. They're doing good. They're making weekly checks that are growing. But what's that doing for you? You do that. Any idea what you're going to make? Well, your number one is doing well over 5,000 left and right. So it's making 1,000 I have here, but what's it really making? They're probably on auto at this point, probably 1,250, wouldn't you say? Yeah? Your number two, same thing. Maybe it's not a solid. Maybe that's 1,250. Maybe that's 1,250. Maybe that's 1,000, right? Just working on the auto orders. You've got 2, 4, 6 re-entries, additional business centers down below, right? Because you earn them off all 3 of these centers. They're down below paying 100 here, 200 there, whatever. Maybe it's another $900 a week, just to make my math easy here. Now you get leadership bonus. You're an emerald director. You're maxing out 3 business centers. You get 1 + 2 + 3 is 6 years of leadership bonus times $175 a week. It's $1,200 a week. Making my easy math here again. Let's be conservative. All these numbers are conservative. Now you're making $1,100 in leadership bonus. $5,000 a week. How many weeks are there a year? 52. Even when you take time off at this point, $260,000 per year. My question for you is, can you gain the skills? Can you do the work, find the people, help enough people out to go find somebody who wants to make 20 to 30 grand a year in their business, building a small home-based business that may grow into a dynasty for them? But the answer is yes. If you turn over enough rocks, you'll find 4 people who want to make 30 grand this year in USANA. And if you're sponsoring them, you're putting them in these legs. Now, if this is your business, but this is the person who did it, they built all this, they're making their $250,000 a year, but it's all one leg for you. It can't just be in your business. This is where you're engaged and you're building in weak legs. We all have weak legs. We got to work. When I realized I could do, I don't care if it took me 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, I can do that. Eventually I can do that. That's a lot better than my corporate America math. My plan there. Right? So anyway, I hope when about 10 minutes over, sorry about that. I hope you all learned a lot today. I know it's a lot of information. Don't feel like you have to be an expert at the compensation plan to be making money. You don't have to be. You can work with an expert, help you out, use the tools, but get to understand how it works as you progress through it. Learn more and more about it so you can help people out. Hope that filled in some gaps for you. I hope that helps you with your skills. Work on those skills. Role play those skills, hone those skills, and then go put them into practice. Put together a game plan, go to work, maximize your checks, not just this week, but every week. You'll see a huge difference in your annual income when you're 1099 from USANA next year. Okay? All right, have a great day.
Thanks, Ryan.